Morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're back today. I was here yesterday, but couldn't stream, but everything's cool now. Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Everybody like the video. 955 North University Drive. This is our top of the hour break. We'll be on the air in just a couple minutes. You can call them at 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now or Boca is in Where is the commercial I'm looking for?
Western Beef is south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop...
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. We'll talk about this wag the dog fake war that Biden is pushing us through. There's a commercial I'm looking for that I don't see.
Medicare recipients are entitled to one pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Soul Authority today.
Where is that? I got a new commercial that I cannot find. Oh, there it is. Okay, just found it. All right, welcome. Here we go. It's showtime.
Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782. Toll-free 1.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-GAIN 1. That's 1-888-GO-GAIN.
All right, welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. 45 years, The Steve Kane Show on the radio here in the state of Florida. That's what's making this the longest-running radio show in Florida. Welcome. We have a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about these unhinged rants, fits of rage that Biden is having, and also becoming really emotionally unhinged live in front of the American people on multiple occasions in the last week. We're going to talk about that. I'll play some of the audio with you. And we'll also talk today a continuation of this wag the dog fake war that we have no business having any part in, that they're getting us into, Biden and the media. And there's a lot more to talk about as well on the program. Those of you that watch on YouTube, we are back live streaming on YouTube today. We were off YouTube yesterday, but we're back on the YouTube today. So just search The Brian Craig Show or Brian Craig or Brian Craig Show on YouTube, and my YouTube channel will come up with my very opinionated chat room that is always there with me. Welcome, welcome, welcome on this Tuesday edition of the program. It is already January 25th, 2022. Can you believe it? Oh, my goodness. Did any of you catch the new Jesse Watters show last night on Fox News Channel at 7 o'clock? I watched the entire thing. It was the debut episode of Jesse Watters' program, and I like Jesse Watters. I must tell you, I do like Jesse Watters. But I never watched his Saturday night show. I've seen him on The Five. I remember him on Bill O'Reilly and doing a piece here and there, but I never watched his show. That doesn't mean I've never seen it. I've seen clips of his Saturday night show. But Jesse Watters' show last night was the most ego-driven hour of television in the history of cable news. It was almost like a show that is like it was like the last day of Carson, when he had Bette Midler out there singing, doing all the flashbacks and all this business. It was so strange, and Jesse Watters kept having guests on to after he spent the first segment praising himself in the studio and has multiple guests on and asks them what they think about him and his show. It was strange. I was tuned in to Jesse Watters last night because it was the first show, so I watched it so I could talk to you all about it. But I'm sticking with Greg Kelly over on Newsman That at 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Also, yeah, so, if you want to talk about that, just your thoughts. I don't want to spend all day talking about Jesse Waters, but if you have any thoughts on the Jesse Waters program, they're certainly welcome. What I do want to, though, is talk about this unhinged Joe Biden that we have in the White House right now that is taking America to war. Don't believe it. Originally the reports yesterday during the day were 50,000 U.S. troops heading over to the region. And then by the afternoon, they downsized it to 8,500. And I'm not sure that I believe that number, because I keep hearing them say 8,500 combat troops. They're not telling us how many. And
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Okay, so what is this? It's not personal business. Was it a hot mic moment, or was it not a hot mic moment? Which was it? Did Biden say this by accident? Did he say it on purpose? Okay, and what is his state of mind? Because he has been acting in very strange ways. He's been acting in very strange ways on camera lately. Over the weekend, he had this bizarre moment with Kamala. I love you, Kamala. You're a son of a bee. It's nothing personal, Doocy. What's going on with Biden here? Is Biden of sound mind? Is he so out of control of himself that he has lost the ability to be appropriate in public? Does that make sense to you? When people are suffering, now this is just my personal experience. Here in Florida, we have the oldest population in America. So any moment in time, no matter where you go, you're running into people that are in different stages of age-related dementia. You go to Walmart, you go to the grocery store, you're in traffic. That's Florida, right? And one thing that I've noticed over the years here in Florida, surrounded by people at different stages of age-related dementia, is that one of the things that they lose is their ability to filter themselves. And telling everybody everything that's on your mind, everything you think, and giving your opinion all the time, well, that's not a good thing. This thinking out loud thing he's doing. If he has lost the ability to filter himself, how far down the dementia road has Joe Biden gotten? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But you know what? We have to find this out, because this guy who's losing his ability to control himself is taking us into another war. And this moment with Doocy and the moment with Kamala, and then there was the one last week with the other Fox News reporter where he said it was a stupid question. If the president does not have their wits about them, how can they lead us into a warlike situation? What is their judgment like? Now, James Rosen over on Newsmax brought this question up last week, and then it was ignored, and there was no follow-up. But over the weekend, there was a big turn against Biden of the liberal media, right? Chuck Todd. Chuck Todd's a creep. MSNBC's a jerks. NBC, you know what they are, and he's the host of Meet the Press. It's the worst. But you got to give the devil his due. Chuck Todd over the weekend, I played this on the air yesterday, he went through yesterday, I played this on the air yesterday. On Sunday, Chuck Todd went through the very low polling numbers of Joe Biden, which is unheard of for Meet the Press and NBC to do about a Democrat president. They're there to promote Democrats, not report the truth about their low opinion numbers, okay? And this problem he has with not being able to control his thoughts, not being able to filter himself, having these bizarre fits that they have to retreat from, like last week at the press conference when he gave Putin the okay to have a minor incursion into Ukraine, and then the next day, all these White House officials like Jen Psaki and others were on television. Oh, that's not what he said, and doing damage control. Well, that's what happened yesterday with Biden. Biden called Doocy the son of a bee, and then within an hour, he's on the phone trying to do damage control. If you have someone who has lost their ability to control what comes out of their mouth, and they're the president of the United States, especially right now in a crisis that is building up with this wag the dog situation with Ukraine and Russia they have us in, that's not good. His lack of control is what caused the pull-out of Afghanistan to go the way it did, leaving them the equipment behind and American hostages behind. This is not good, and it's very dangerous. You know, before this was heating up, before the press conference last week, we've been talking about, and when I say we, I don't mean just me, I mean others like me, have been talking about how dangerous it is to have someone like Biden at this level of dementia in their life running the show. And now we see it firsthand. We're going to take our first break of the day. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take your calls after the break. My name's Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Back right after this. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Stacy from Deerfield Beach. This is in reference to Champagne Automotive. I went over there. They're wonderful. I have a Kia Optima Eco Hybrid. When I called...
Bill Jacobs says this buffering's getting old. Let me tell you, Bill Jacobs, you can leave, okay? Leave. Get your own stream. Do your own thing. You know, the streaming app collapsed. I had to reinstall it and reset up all the settings in it, and that's why I was buffering a little bit there in the beginning. But let me tell you, Bill Jacobs, leave. Get the hell out. Go somewhere else. Take your complaints with you. All right? Gee whiz. I got 30 freaking things going on here. Buffering is part of live streaming. I'm not one of these guys living with their parents in their bedroom with a desktop hooked up doing a short live stream. You know, I stream using my iPhone for a reason. I use the iPhone on purpose, and as opposed to a computer, because of the live calls, I have to be able to screen what goes out over YouTube because of YouTube restrictions. So that's part of it. Whenever there's buffering, I take care of it. The thing yesterday was not my fault. The streaming app had crashed.
And thank you very much, Brian and Steve.
For Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca, 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. Steve Kane Show.
Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Hold on.
Just search for WWNN.
All righty, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. It's Jeff from Coral Springs.
Hey, Jeff, what's up?
The thing that's really kind of scary about this is going to either destroy the Ukraine, a country that's poor, and a country that has all kinds of crime and organized crime. And at the end of the day, they're not going to be in any better situation if they were under Russia or under their own control. And I don't even think Russia wants to take over all of Ukraine. I think they want to just get more area along the ports or secure the pipeline. And if that pipeline gets messed up, like 40% of Germany and Italy's energy comes from that. And this is going to be a situation that is going to be unbearable. It's wintertime over there. And I just think that this is crazy. I can't believe that this is even happening.
Well, first off, we just got out of a 20-year war that Biden lost. We had a war that was 20 years old. That was won. Biden lost it by pulling out. Our military have been on, I don't know how many tours. If an average soldier that does more than one enlistment, how many tours have they done in Afghanistan and Iraq? In the old days, like in Vietnam, it was a 13-month tour, okay, and then you were done, unless you volunteered to go back. In World War II, it was till the conclusion, but that didn't go on for 20 years, not for us, So we have an army that has been in combat for 20 years. They just lost a war because of this senile old coot. We're supposed to worry about the Ukrainian border when we have an invasion from Latin America that's the largest invasion ever through Mexico into the United States. And, poor Texas. Texas fought off the Mexican army back in the War of Texan Independence, and now people are coming through Mexico by the thousands every day, and nothing's being done about it with this guy. And what are they bringing with them, right? Crime, disease, sex trafficking, drugs, wonderful. And we're supposed to worry about the Ukrainian border, and obviously Biden having these bizarre moments, professing his love for Kamala, calling Steve Doocy a son of a bee. He's lost control of himself. He's not in control.
Mm-hmm. Now, Brian, I don't know if you heard, but Tucker did a show last night, basically saying everything you're saying right now, pretty much.
Oh, I missed Tucker last night.
So anyway, he within 5 minutes of that, some Congress guy from New Jersey came out and said his office has been getting calls from all these right-wingers about how they're like on the Russian side. They already got plans how they're going to spit.
Yeah, we're on the Russian side. Yes.
How many people does he have in his office at 9 o'clock at night?
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, okay, that we're on Russia's side. Let me tell you, the delay in the United States entering the Second World War was because of the Democrats. Roosevelt ran on, when he was running for his re-elections, keeping us out of a war in Europe, another war in Europe. And the Democrats, the liberals in this country, were opposed to intervention against Hitler until he did one thing, and that was invade the Soviet Union. And that's when the Democrats, because they're communist brothers and sisters, when Hitler went into the Soviet Union, attacked the Soviet Union, they said, "You've gone too far, Chancellor Hitler." Then they finally stood up and said, "Well, maybe we should get involved." Listen. We have no business being over there. This is not going to break out in any European war again. Even if Putin takes the Ukraine, who cares?
Mess up Germany and Italy because of the energy.
Oh, it'll mess up Germany and Italy. Well, let me tell you, there's a lot of people here in Boca whose lives have been messed up by Germany because their grandparents were exterminated in concentration camps, okay? So I'm sorry that I'm not concerned about Germany. We had 2 world wars because of the Germans, right? Screw them.
You're right about that. But the whole energy thing is really bad. Some people are going to be adversely impacted.
Wow.
Sure that countries like Japan, they're going to have a boon if that gets their industrial thing gets shut down for a couple of months because they won't be able to make any cars.
Well, maybe Europe, maybe Europe should be hardworking people like we are in America, instead of afternoon siestas in part of Europe, maternity leave for men. Maybe give me a break.
We have people taking maternity leave here.
Yeah, Prince Harry from the UK and in California. Do manly men take maternity leave?
Not if they want to have a job your boss would think you're not worth keeping.
Probably not. Exactly. So, Europe, butch up. It's none of our business. Stay out. Hey, listen, thanks for the call from Coral Springs. Appreciate it. 25 minutes after the hour, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. I got a question with this Doocy Biden moment. Let me play it again. let me see here. Where is it? I've got so many sound bites here. Here we go again.
It's a great asset. Workplace. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Okay, a son of a bee. I'm going to throw this out to you guys. What you know, I know people think it's funny. It's cute. I don't think it's either. I think it's frightening, but I got to ask you a question. The root of the phrase son of a bee, isn't that an insult for a man's mother? Is Biden insulting Peter Doocy's mother? You know, I know women, and sometimes gay men, call each other the B word. But if I went around referring to women using the B word, oh boy, would that be appropriate? I don't think so. Is it sex? To call a man publicly, like Biden did yesterday, a son of a bee, is that at all sexist? I don't know. I'm asking you guys there. Where are the so-called feminists in their Handmaid's Tales costumes that were all upset at the Supreme Court picks of Donald Trump? Maybe they've got some words into this. Listen, the problem with Biden yesterday is we are seeing him more and more often not having control of what comes out of his mouth. That means he doesn't have control of his mind, right? Whether he's calling Steve Doocy from Fox News Channel the son of a bee, professing his love in front of the world to Kamala Harris, or last week telling Vladimir Putin that an excursion into Ukraine is okay as long as it's only so far in, which he was vague on. He's lost control of his mind when he's lost the filter on what comes out of his mouth. None of us say everything that's on our mind all the time, especially not with microphones around. You know, there's a rule of thumb, and I know you guys think that I'm paranoid about this, and maybe I am. Whenever I'm in the studio during the show, I don't say anything during the breaks that I would not say on the radio. Because when there's a microphone around, you always assume that the microphone is hot, meaning on, right? That's why I call it a hot mic moment. And sometimes, this is true, sometimes we'll have a meeting in the studio. And before we have a meeting in the studio, I'll unplug my microphone, just in case. Because there's, we're talking about business and money and things like that. It's not for the air. That's the way it is. And that was even before, during the breaks, we're live streaming on YouTube. So when you watch on YouTube, you can hear what goes on during the breaks. You missed a good one during the last break. I had some choice words for somebody during the last break that people on YouTube got to see. But even before we were live streaming all the time, I wouldn't say anything in the studio during a break that I wouldn't say on the air, because you never know. Maybe I forgot to turn the mic off. Sometimes you'll see me leave the studio during a break. Sometimes I got to make a phone call. I got to call Steve or someone else, and I'll go into another room and call them. Not in here, just in case the mic is hot. And that's something people that live around microphones, like Biden is doing, like I do, you learn to be careful. When he's lost his ability to filter, it's another sign of his dementia. Well, let me take our break here for the bottom of the hour. Then we'll get back to your calls, those of you on hold. Our number toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. Don't go anywhere. We will be back right after this break.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm excited to announce my new product, My Slippers. They took me over 2 years to develop because I didn't want just an ordinary slipper. My slippers are meant to be worn all day long, no matter what you're doing, whether you're inside or outside. My slippers come with an exclusive 3-tier cushioning system that you won't find in any other slipper. It combines 2 layers of foam, including my proprietary My Pillow foam and a patented
Steve Kane Show.
made from U.S. soybeans. My 3
Hey, hold on.
cushioning system is going to help relieve pressure points, provide that micro support you need for all-day comfort, and help prevent fatigue. Not only that, my slippers are made with high-quality leather and a premium indoor-outdoor sole that make them extremely
Steve Kane Show.
personally guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable slippers
Hold
you've
on.
ever owned.
And right now, save 40% off the My Pillow My Slippers when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the Sole Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Sole Authority today, 954-597-7060.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for
All right, 32 minutes after the hour, it's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. Let's take a call or two. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Dave in Crimea. How you doing today?
Oh, hey, Dave in Crimea. How you doing? Good, dude. Well, I don't know. They're trying to get us involved in a war over there, and I'm very much against that.
Yeah, I'm very much against it, too. I was listening to your stream a couple days ago, and I heard you say that the Russian military is old and incapable. And that would have been true.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Wrong, but that would have been true in about 2005 or something like that. Since 2008, Russia's been rebuilding their entire...
I don't know. I would know what I was talking about during the Cold War. See, you're in Russian-controlled territory, which is okay. Hey, listen, that's fine. I have no problem. I have no problem with Russia. I was talking about during the Cold War, Russia was not a threat to the United States in any way, shape, form, or another. During the Cold War, it was a lie, like is going on now. Right now, we've got this clown government in Ukraine. I mean, what do you expect when you put a goofy actor, stand-up goofy comic, and make him your president? Of course that's going to destabilize the region.
Yes, we've been picking Ukraine's president since about 2004.
Yeah.
They have this Yanukovych guy who got in after the Orange Revolution in 2004, screwed everything up. And in 2014, the U.S. government decided to overthrow that government. And
well, so what's okay? I don't need the history. I'll fall asleep. But because it's not important in America. We don't care. We don't care. Okay, and we've got this corrupt public official, Joe Biden, who's taken us to war for a bunch of reasons, none of them good. What's Putin's plan here? Is Putin gonna take over the Ukraine? Is he gonna let it be on his own and just get rid of this mediocre actor and put in a president? What's going on?
With all that's being said, I don't believe that somewhere in the New York Times and the Washington Post and the Independent, they're publishing maps of like a 3-pronged attack on Ukraine. They're showing Russian forces building up, but they don't say that those forces are building up 150 kilometers inside the Russian border, If they really wanted to put...
Yeah, and I got to tell you, it's wintertime. Here in Florida, I'm in South Florida, it's 48 degrees this morning, which is like the coldest day of the year we'll probably have here, maybe. It's pretty cold over there in Ukraine right now. I don't know of too many militaries that have done well fighting Russia in the winter. It seems like if you go to war with Russia during the winter, you're destined to lose. Napoleon, Hitler. So Biden's sending thousands and thousands of U.S. soldiers to face down Russia in the dead of winter. That doesn't sound like a good time to take on Russia.
I don't believe that the U.S. will use American soldiers in Ukraine.
Well, yeah, sure. We're dumping all this equipment over there, and there's more coming. There's more just landed in the last few minutes. They're landing equipment now. They don't just land at the airport and give them cargo planes of high-tech equipment. We have U.S. personnel from the different military branches that show them how to use it and operate it for them. The equipment is all computerized. It's in English. And these Ukrainians, most of them speak Ukrainian, and if they speak English, it's not it's not great. So our guys are running the equipment, so they may be called non-combat. They may be called advisors. They may be called, I don't know what they call them, but we're going to have all kinds of military personnel in Ukraine operating all this equipment.
Okay, but for the last 7 years, you've had all sorts of American stuff, and all summer long, the U.S. has been running their traffic control for ground troops.
Yeah, so there you go. So they don't call them combat. That's why they're talking about 8,500 combat troops, because these other personnel that are in the military from the various branches, they're non-combat. Well, they're in Ukraine operating the equipment. It's and the United States military was completely rebuilt by President Trump. So you may have a helicopter, like the Black Hawk helicopter. The Black Hawk helicopter of today is not the Black Hawk Down era, right? It's high tech. A pilot, you may not even be able to start it, and then when they start it, everything's in English, and who knows if they even read English. They're Ukrainian, and no, this is a mess.
Well, the thing about you have a $25, $60, $100 or $100 million aircraft, you're going to find someone to fly it for you.
I don't know. My wife's got a new car. It's about a year old, a Mini Cooper, and I'm still learning how to use the damn thing. It's got all these gizmos. I can hardly figure out how to unlock the door. And it shuts, and the engine stops at every red light. I got to figure out how to. I can't. You know what I mean? And we're talking about tanks and other equipment that's much more high tech than my wife's Mini Cooper.
Yeah, as far as the tanks go,
I mean, I'm not kidding you. I drove my wife's car to work this morning. I couldn't even figure out how to turn on the rear wiper. So you're telling me that we're giving high-tech equipment to the Ukrainians, and they know how to use. I can't even turn the rear wiper on my wife's car. Okay.
Then we've got a real problem, because we overthrew the government, and for the last summer, there's been probably 3 or 4 ships with just tons of tanks and all these weapon systems. They've been rolling off the docks all summer long in Odessa. So they're bringing them all to the front lines right now. You've got groups with tow missiles, parading around for Instagram and Facebook.
Exactly. I've seen some of these pictures of the troops. They're a bunch of posers. They're out in the snow with all their equipment, talking on things, and they're always looking off to the side in these perfect pictures. A bunch of posers out there, got a bunch of Instagram walls around. This is a mess. Listen. Most 99% of Americans could not find Ukraine on a map. If the Ukraine disappeared today from the face of the earth, right? What would change for America?
Well, for starters, Biden would lose about $5 billion a year that they've been scamming the Ukrainian people for the last about.
Okay, so Hunter would have a hard time paying for his drugs and hookers. I get it. No, but for the American people, it would change nothing. If Ukraine disappeared today, disappeared from the earth, I don't mean taken over. I mean if it was just taken off the earth, we wouldn't even know it.
Well, that's kind of the plan the EU had, is they have them come into the EU with an agreement, association agreement.
Oh yeah, so we're obligated to fight for them. No, Europe doesn't matter anymore. Europe doesn't matter anymore. About 10 or 12 years ago, there was a major fog that covered all of Europe, that grounded for several days all the flights of Europe. No flights were in Europe because of this fog bank. This is about 10, 15 years ago. And the prime minister of one of the European countries, I can't remember, Norway, one of those Nordic, Scandinavian places, the prime minister was stuck at an airport, and he was running the country on a laptop. And Europe was shut down for a week or so due to this fog, and it didn't change anyone's life. If America shut down for a week, the world would collapse. So, I'm just not interested. America is being invaded right now from our southern border. And we're being invaded thousands a day, pouring across our southern border, bringing nothing but bad things with them. And we're supposed to be concerned about an incursion over a border of a country that doesn't matter to us and that we can't find on maps? Give me a break.
You have to understand how the big lie works. You're in a country that's been taken over, and you're living under an occupation. So
I'm living under an occupation? What occupation is that? Oh, nah. It sounds like you're watching too much Russian propaganda over there in Crimea. Hey, take care. Thanks for the call. That caller is calling from Russia, occupied territory. He's in Crimea. All right, let me take another call. What the heck? Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Bill from Sanford.
Hey, Bill in Sanford. How you doing?
I saw another symptom for Alzheimer's, which is handwriting and signature. And I looked up, and I cannot find any executive order with Biden's signature on it.
Oh, it's interesting.
How many times have you seen Donald Trump's signature?
Oh, I've got autographs of Trump all over my house. I've got maybe 6 things autographed by President Trump in my house. So, yeah.
Show his executive.
He'd sign it and hold it up to the camera. Oh, so yeah. So you're Good point.
Their handwriting becomes slop.
Because it's a motor control.
I looked up resolutions, but I don't have the resolutions, or I can't find it, with his signature.
Because they don't want you to be able to compare it to previous handwriting samples of Biden, because you could use that to, they're hiding his, I can see it. I can see that. Absolutely. That's a very good point.
And the other thing is, about technology in cars, you made me feel good, because I'm a lot older than you, and I can't do it. But I have to call up my grandkids who are in their 20s. They can tell me where the rear windshield wiper.
Now my car, I have an old car and it's very simple. But my wife's car, I'm serious. I was halfway to work before I could figure out how to turn on the rear defrost, and I gave up on the windshield wiper.
In the dark.
Well, I figured out the front wipers. It was the rear wiper that I couldn't figure out. So I didn't see through the rear. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding.
Been there.
And I think I'm pretty tech savvy. So you.
We feel so good.
Maybe what we can do is send some of the Taliban to Ukraine so they can train the Ukrainians on how to use the American military equipment.
They'd have to send teenagers.
No, this is the thing you brought up about Biden's handwriting is true. See, what I was talking about with this Doocy son of a bee and I love you Kamala and all this stuff, he's lost the ability to filter his mouth. His brain is not filtering. And he said last week that Putin could make a small incursion into Ukraine, which what is that, 50 miles, 150 miles? I don't know what a small incursion is, but he said that in the press conference. He lost control. What happens a lot of time. What happened with Biden in that moment when he said a small incursion would be okay? This is not the first time we've seen Biden do this. What Biden has done is say publicly in front of the media and a camera and microphone what they talk about in their private security meetings. They talk about the difference. Well, if he only makes a small incursion, we won't do much. We won't have to do, and he's saying things that take place in these top secret strategy sessions with our military and national security people, and he says it out loud. That's what happened there. It was like this son of a bee thing. He's lost the ability to control his mind, and that's an example of it. That was classified information he gave out by mistake about Putin could make a small incursion into Ukraine last week.
Fortunately, we're going to see more of that, and that's scary.
Yeah, it is. Hey, all right, take care. Take care. Tell George Zimmerman I said hi. That caller lives in Sanford, Florida, the home of George Zimmerman. Oh, boy. All right, let's take a break. My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. If you're on hold, stand by. Back with your calls after this.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test.
Steve Kane Show.
Any Lab Test Now of Boca
Hey, Richie.
is located in the Sandalwood Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi folks, Dr. Matez here, now with the BioStation West Delray. At BioStation West Delray, we continue to offer the highest level of experience and care you can find in the realm of hormone pellet and hormone replacement therapies. But that's just the start. We offer a full array of age management modalities, including state-of-the-art treatments for erectile dysfunction, sexual dysfunction in women, physical and sexual rejuvenation, and quite frankly, any sign or symptom of aging that you may have. And don't forget, we offer the complete array of all cosmetic modalities, including Botox, fillers, lasers, etc. Better energy, better sleep, better performance, and looks to die for. If this all sounds good to you, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, 48 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. And, 48 degrees. 48 degrees in South Florida this morning. And it's colder in other parts of Florida. But, man, that's cold. And, like yesterday, I woke up this morning. I didn't know it was cold. I didn't know it was cold because I was sleeping under my MyPillow 100% Giza cotton flannel dream sheets that the inventor of MyPillow, Mike Lindell, has created, and they are spectacular. My wife and I have 4 sets of the MyPillow sheets, 2 regular sheet sets, and of course the flannel sheets, and they're beautiful, they're perfect. And right now with our promo code at checkout, Kane, K-A-N-E, buy 1 set, get a 2nd set of the MyPillow sheets for free. And on top of just being perfectly comfortable and warm, and just, I didn't even know it was cold out till I got out of bed. That bottom sheet fits the mattress so well. You guys know what I'm talking about. When you make the bed, right, and you got to get the 4 corners onto that bottom sheet. On regular sheets, especially after a washing, getting all 4 corners on all the way is like nearly impossible. There's been many times before we had the MyPillow 100% Giza cotton dream sheets, I'd get to that 4th corner and I'm using like all my strength to get it over the bed just enough so it doesn't fly off the mattress, and I'm always afraid that my fingers are going to slip and I'm going to end up with my back up against the corner of the dresser or the wall or the closet door or something. It's pretty frightening doing that. The MyPillow sheets, all 4 corners, you boom, 2 fingers and a thumb, boom, 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 boom. Was that 4 booms? Just easy as pie. Not a problem at all, and they stay on, and they fit all the way around the mattress. Even with my mattress topper on there, it's amazing. I know. They're just for that, they're worth it. on top of just being perfect and comfortable and soft. They come in many different colors. You don't have to get flannel unless you want to. But with the BOGO offer, you can get one regular, one flannel if you want. It's up to you. Buy one set, get a second set free with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. Or you can order by phone at 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE. All right. So we are talking about Biden losing the ability to filter himself, calling Steve Doocy a son of a bee, professing his love for Kamala over the weekend, and telling Putin that an incursion into the Ukraine was okay. This is getting more and more dangerous each and every day. Let's go to Richie, the bus driver. Richie?
Yeah, good morning. You and I agree. Last night I listened. I want to just put a few arguments out there. I listened to Mark Levin last night. He says, "Listen, I'm not a war hawk." He says, "I'm not a hawk." He says, but he pointed some things out. He says China went in over the weekend. They went deep into Taiwan with their jets and they had to scramble to get them out. She is watching what's going on here. We got a total mess. She is watching what we're going to do with Ukraine. You got and he says Russia has that zigzag missile with the warhead.
Mm-hmm.
That's not for Ukraine. And he says you got ballistic missiles from the Iranians now that they could reach Tel Aviv, but those ballistic missiles could hit the United States 7,000 miles away.
So Levin says we should be fighting for Ukraine. What is he saying?
Levin says that with Trump we had peace through strength. He says we have a total mess on our hands. He says by people like you and I that don't want to do anything about it. I mean, with China watching here, he says eventually we'll get more people killed in this country because he says these people will not stop.
Oh yeah, are we going to be speaking Russian? Is he bringing that? Okay. Listen, I'm a supporter of. Okay, let's slow down. I support Mark Levin. He was a never Trumper, but he came around and Trump approves of him, so that's good enough for me until he screws up. And Mark Levin's opinions matter to me. Okay, they do because he's a well-informed, educated man, and I like and I trust him. But I'm going to disagree with him on this one. He grew up brainwashed with the lie of the Cold War, where we were all going to be speaking Russian if we weren't in Southeast Asia, and guys like you went to Vietnam, not guys like Mark Levin, or you understand what I mean? And it's very easy for these rich guy elite. Remember Mark Levin worked in the Reagan administration. He was a kid, so he's a well-connected guy. Mark Levin, Liz Cheney, all these war hawks. You're the one. You were a cook in the Army. How far were you from the front lines of combat? How could the VC smell your cooking? Oh, the North Vietnamese could smell your cooking. Mark Levin. Yeah, the North Vietnamese could smell your cooking. I mean, think about that. You think Dick Cheney's was ever that close to the or Levin or me? I haven't either. Or Biden. Hunter was in the Navy for a couple days until he failed his drug test. So it's easy for them to say.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Levin says that under President Trump, they were afraid and respected him. This moron in the White House, Levin said it. They're taking advantage of this. They're taking advantage of Blinken over Pompeo.
Blinken's is a girly man. And so far as China, China's a threat. But here's the problem. This president works for China. He took that $31 million bribe from Chinese intelligence, according to Mark Levin's guest, Peter Schweizer, Sunday night on Fox. So, so China, we're not going to show anything to China because this guy, Biden, is on the take with China.
Show last night was we are in big doo-doos because of who's in the White House right now.
Correct.
He says none of this would happen under Trump. They wait.
Correct.
For Biden to get in office.
Yes.
People were duped.
Correct.
Calls you and says Biden is a great president. He's doing a great job. You know that yesterday the latest poll was like 67% say he's doing an awful job.
He's in the negatives. He's like 19 in the negatives on approval. You know, so yeah, we're in trouble, but we don't want to compound that by getting involved in some conflict over there. And if you think we're not going to be involved, let me tell you, if Russia goes in, we have plenty. Like I told the caller earlier, that equipment that's landing right now as we speak in Ukraine is all being run by U.S. military personnel from every branch of the service. So they may not be they may not be classified as combat personnel, but they're in the combat zone. And if things get heated, how long is it going to be before one of our guys gets killed in some airstrike on some guided missile platform in Ukraine from Russia that's being run by our guys?
That's what happened in Vietnam. We had 500 advisors over there.
Advisors.
They started getting whacked. They brought troops in. Bottom line is this. We got a guy in the White House right now, and we have a no-win situation. Because the Iranians are going to get their nuclear bomb with this guy, and they have a way to get it.
Yeah, and let me tell you, and Richie, I was talking about this yesterday after you called in. When I see all these retired military people, the retired generals, admirals, and lieutenant colonels, what was your rank when you left the service? Specialist 5. They don't have specialist anymore. Why don't I ever see? Why do I? Is that sergeant? Okay. Why don't I see any retired sergeants or retired corporals on Fox News telling us we got to go to war? Right? Because those are the guys that actually go to war, not these war college graduates like Milley, who sit in offices.
The other guy's a disaster. The black guy, Secretary of Defense.
I mean, look, Milley. I want you guys to think about this. I forgot the name, but General Milley played on the same high school football team as that transgendered cabinet secretary that Biden appointed. You know who I'm talking about? So what are the odds that Biden appointed this transgendered secretary of whatever? Played on the same high school football team at the same time as General Milley, you know, and somebody like General Milley, do you think he understands? I don't understand what you went through. I know a lot of guys that were in Vietnam. I don't understand what it's like to be so close that the enemy can smell my food.
Really quick, to describe something for your listeners, you open up a green body bag and you look and you say, what the hell is that? And it looks like a piece of roast beef in Publix that hasn't been trimmed, and they tell you that is Lieutenant so-and-so.
Yeah.
Took it this morning.
Yeah, and he's not on Fox telling us to go to war because he didn't make it back. And I'll tell you, I was watching, I couldn't believe, I was watching, I watched Fox yesterday because I wanted to see Jesse Kelly's first show, you know, or Jesse Waters' first show, which I watched. And here they are pushing us into war all afternoon. They go to commercial breaks, and they're running the tunnels to towers. And I'm watching this. They had one with this guy with his pretty wife and his young kids. He lost his legs, you know, and he's got, you know, my wife and I donate to Tunnels for Tower every month. It's a great charity. They do good work. But here you've got, what do they want? They want to have more people that they need to help at Tunnels to Tower? You know, it's sick.
Real quick, do you know that they're having a recruiting problem with this president?
I wonder why.
You know why? Because the blacks don't want to join because the blacks feel like the whites hate them. And the whites don't want to join because they feel like that they're not loved by this country, that we're called racist.
Yeah.
Getting any pilots. Levin said it last night. The recruiting is in the toilet bowl right now under this guy.
Well, because I'm sure recruitment was low after the fall of Saigon. You know, we just had a major military defeat after a 20-year war. And, you know, I'll tell you another thing. A lot of people, like in your generation in particular, joined the service because your dad was in the Second World War or Korea. And now the dads are telling their sons, don't enlist. Yeah, they don't enlist. So it's a whole, you know, so you don't have that generational tradition taking place.
We have no leadership with the services. It's all a bunch of woke generals. The country's in the toilet under this whole thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything.
That's right.
Right down.
Yeah. All right, take care. Richie, take care. It's 7 o'clock. 1 hour down, 2 to go.
Covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, I'm Dr. Janae Lomaski. In my practice, I'm seeing that emotions are raw and the stress levels are high. A major reason for this is COVID-19. COVID-19 has become a recent state.
Welcome, everyone. Make sure you like the video, and if you're new, subscribe.
Positive for COVID and endured symptoms for 3 weeks. His fears went through his new roof. Are you ruminating about getting COVID? Maybe it's so bad you're having panic attacks about it. If you have these worries, fear the worst. You don't have to. There are many people that are recovering from COVID every day. There are so many mental practices you can do to get through this difficult time and move on. If you are experiencing any difficulties, call me 561-777-2021. That's 561-777-2021. Or email me at drjlomaski@gmail.com. You can also join me live every Saturday at 11 a.m. as your psychological source. Be careful, not fearful. You don't have to do this alone.
Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Stacy from Deerfield Beach. This is in reference to Champagne Automotive. I went over there. They're wonderful. I have a Kia Optima Eco Hybrid. When I called, it needed service.
Hey, Bernadette. Good morning.
To the dealership because they would charge me through the roof. And basically, when I did call, they said bring it in the next day. He's amazing. He did everything. He didn't overcharge me. He went through my car, and I would recommend anybody to go to him. He's absolutely amazing.
Well, you know, Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca, they do great work, and I want to thank you for calling. And I learned something about Champagne Automotive Repair from you in this call. I did not know that they actually did repairs on hybrid vehicles.
What had happened was when I brought it to the dealership, they were like, well, we want to do this, we want to do that. And when I heard about Champagne Automotive, I called when I got there, and I said, he goes, well, I already ordered the...
Well, thank you, Jill Williams.
Oh, my goodness. And so
I'll play it again, Lily Bell. Yes, I did. It's the what happened yesterday, the app, I live streamed using a streaming app, and that app collapsed. Just crashed. That's why I couldn't stream during the show yesterday.
Their prices are great. They'll never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. Their number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And what's your name, caller?
My name is Stacy, and thank you very much, Champagne Automotive. And thank you very much, Brian and Steve.
For Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca, 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by...
Here we go. Hour number 2.
At the Siegel Laundry. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Awesome, Robbie B.
You're listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. And now, here's Steve Kane.
All right, hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. A couple listeners in the chat room on YouTube told me during the break, they just received their MyPillow bathrobes they've ordered, which are great. Those are 30% off with the promo code Kane at checkout. And those bathrobes, they come in many different colors, styles for men and women. They have a bunch of new colors in. Great for Valentine's Day, for your Valentine, especially if you get his and hers. 30% off with the promo code Kane. And another listener told me they just ordered the 100% Giza cotton dream sheets of Mike Lindell's at MyPillow.com. Remember, buy one set, get a second set free with the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. And sleeping on those flannel sheets the last couple nights is just waking up so rested, so cool, so comfortable. Didn't even know that it's like freezing outside by Florida standards at 48 degrees. You can also order by phone, 1-800 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane at checkout. We've been talking about Biden's cognitive decline, his mood disorders, his ability has been lost to filter what comes out of his mouth. I was just reading a story during the break. Kim Kardashian joins Hillary and Chelsea Clinton at Black-owned LA cafe to shoot scenes for a new Apple Plus docuseries called Gutsy Women. So Hillary, Chelsea, and Kim Kardashian are gutsy women? Okay. Let's start with Kim Kardashian. Okay? Why is Kim Kardashian famous? Why is Kim Kardashian famous? And why is her whole family famous? You know why? Because O.J. Simpson brutally murdered his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and also brutally murdered the young Ron Goldman, who happened to cross the murder in progress. Kim Kardashian's father was O.J.'s best friend, and O.J. got away with killing 2 people. That's when the name Kardashian first became known, but that's not what made Kim Kardashian famous. It was a sex tape that miraculously just got released to the public. So a gutsy woman, these are who the gutsy women of 2022 are? A woman who's famous because, and some people think her father helped O.J. get away with it. Okay? So gutsy women are women that get famous because their father helps a double murderer who took the life of the mother of his young children from them, helps him get away with it, and she goes and makes a porno movie with her boyfriend, releases it to the public. That's a gutsy woman? Sounds like kind of sleazy to me. And that's Kim Kardashian. And the Clintons, Chelsea and Hillary, what has Chelsea Clinton ever done? What has she ever done? Nothing. And Hillary, well, what has Hillary done? She's a gutsy woman. You know, anytime when a woman came forward that was gutsy, a real gutsy woman, and said, I was raped by Bill Clinton, Juanita Broderick, what did gutsy woman Hillary do? Destroy her reputation. When a good Southern girl came forward and said, Bill Clinton forced himself upon me and exposed his penis to me, Paula Jones, what did Hillary do? Call her white trash and go out to destroy her life. When she was a young lawyer and a 13-year-old girl was raped by 2 men who were in their late 30s, what did Hillary do? She represented the kitty rapist and blamed the 13-year-old rape victim, called her a little Lolita. So these are the gutsy women in the Apple Plus series, Gutsy Women. That's disgusting. They should call the show Sleazy Women, Disgusting Women. My goodness. All right, let's take some calls. 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. I got nothing against Kim Kardashian, but let's be honest about why she's famous. Give me a break. 1-888-465-2631. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Doug.
Yes, Doug.
I don't know how long we have to listen to the Hillary Clinton. Man, why is anybody even interested in her anymore, man? She's proven to be gutsy only because she still comes out when everybody hates her. Unbelievable. Everybody got to stop listening to this Hillary Clinton and let her retire and go home someplace.
Yes.
Joe Biden being in the office, I wouldn't say this, but I'm kind of thinking perhaps this might be a whole scam between him and Putin to have the neocons be able to sell a lot of equipment, billions of dollars waste.
I don't know. We know that Joe Biden has all kinds of corrupt money coming out of Ukraine, right? Through Hunter's fake jobs over there. So maybe he's happy with Ukraine being threatened so they can give Hunter some more jobs to get Putin off their back. You know what I mean?
Waste billions of dollars. Then I'll take his fee, and Hunter will get some more money somehow. You know, this is to me. I hope I'm wrong, but man, you know, Joe Biden, you can't put anything past him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One other thing is, you know,
I mean, I saw. I'll go ahead with your one more thing.
Okay. You have to be so careful everything you say. Meanwhile, this Tiffany Cross, did you see what she said?
No.
She's on, I think, MSNBC. She says that people should pick up weapons, fight for...
the right to party? I don't know. Tiffany Cross, yeah. You know, and I wonder, you know, she's a big racist over there on MSNBC on the weekends. You know, what is the symbolism with her last name? Is that her real last name? Is it to harken back to remember what happened during the Democrat Jim Crow era? I don't know. Why is her last name Cross? And, you know, did you see this story? This was Michael Madsen. You know the actor? Michael Madsen, Kill Bill, Reservoir Dogs, right? Very good actor, Michael Madsen. I like Michael Madsen. Reservoir Dogs star, plural dogs, Reservoir Dogs, which is a really good movie. Anytime I watch it, though, I fast forward through the ear scene. I don't need to see that. Reservoir Dogs star Michael Madsen's son Hudson dies of a gunshot wound and suspected suicide. 26-year-old soldier. He's the godson of Quentin Tarantino and is an Afghan veteran. He was based at Schofield Barracks in Hawaii. Wow, that's where From Here to Eternity took place, right? You know, think about this. Okay? And here we have this 20-year-old war that Biden just lost in Afghanistan. He's starting up another one. You know, I'm talking about those wounded warriors in Tunnel to Tower commercials with all the maimed men. Sorry, guys, my throat is dry. I've got to take a drink here. Hold on. Bear with me. My apologies. I have to stop talking during the break to the chat room and wet my palate. But, you know, I was talking about how, you know, Fox News, all day long, they're pushing us into war. They go to commercial break, and they got some guy that lost his legs in the last war who was just given a mortgage-free home from Tunnels to Towers, which, again, my wife and I support Tunnels to Towers. It's a great, great charity. And now we're sitting off a bunch of other ones. And, you know, it's not just those guys, the guys that lose their limbs or that don't make it back. How many of our veterans are like the son of Michael Madsen? That like this 26-year-old veteran of the war in Afghanistan that Biden just lost, the son of Michael Madsen, the godson of Quentin Tarantino. What is the suicide rate for our servicemen and women? It's very high. Very high. And I wonder, I throw this out to you guys because I know some of you may come from military families, you're a veteran. You may have experienced some of these terrible tragedies in your own family. Is the suicide rate, and we know the suicide rate is very high among service personnel. Someone just told me 27 a day. That's the average. That means some days there's more. Is the suicide rate of these veterans higher than that of Vietnam? I bet it is. And those guys those Vietnam veterans, they had liberals spitting on them, calling them baby killers all day, you know? These guys, because they were in a never-ending conflict and did multiple tours, it's messed them up. And the suicide rate is high because we have these endless wars with these guys like Biden and Cheney who are never in harm's way. And I was pretty surprised. Michael Madsen, pretty well-known actor, Quentin Tarantino, was godfather, wanted to serve his country, and look what's happened to him. I don't know all the reasons and everything behind it, but I know he's a veteran in Afghanistan. I don't know how many tours he did, but the suicide rate is so high because these endless, they come home, they're back. They come home, they go back. Well, you're in Afghanistan, next time you're in Iraq. They're not like Mayor Pete, who don't go to boot camp and stay in the green zone for a couple months and act like they're Audie Murphy, okay? And I'm also curious about this. Has the suicide rate gone up since Biden left Afghanistan the way he did? Meaning, are a lot of these soldiers looking at what they were something good that they thought they were doing, bringing freedom to the people of Afghanistan, and see that their sacrifice and the sacrifices of their friends that didn't make it back was for nothing because we've given it back to the Taliban? I don't know. But these, I know, sound like a peace snake, and they can tell us all day long, oh, you're on Russia's side? No, I'm not on Russia's side. I just don't care about Ukraine. Let me take our first break of this hour. Let me give out the number. I'll bring up some other topics, and I've got some other audio sound bites I want to play. But you are very much welcome to call in on anything I've brought up in the first hour and 15 minutes of the program at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. I also want to hear if anybody caught Jesse Waters' first show last night. I thought Jesse Waters' show was the most ego-driven hour of television I have ever seen. He spent the first segment telling you how great he thought he was. Then he goes out on the street to ask people in the streets of New York how great they think he is. And then he had a series of guests who came on to tell him how great he was at what it is that he does. And this is the thing. I've always liked Jesse Waters. Don't misunderstand me. I like Jesse Waters. But this ego of his is too out of control to have an hour-long show like this. When he was on the 5, he's one of 5. He's got a couple minutes here, and and the ego thing is funny. But when you have it for an hour, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And when he's with a panel and you only got like a little bit of it, oh, that's funny, it's cute, haha. And he has some good one-liners with Geraldo, and I like him there. But an hour, it was so bad. I watched the whole hour of Jesse Waters' show. If you watched that last night, call me and let me know what you think. I'm a Greg Kelly guy on Newsmax. Don't worry, I'll be back, Greg Kelly, tonight. Don't worry. I'm going to watch this egomaniac. But it was so bad. At the end of the show, he had Gutfield in there with that bushy Dana Perino, another winner. But Gutfeld I like, and I respect Greg Gutfeld. I really do. He's a very talented guy. He's very funny. And Jesse Waters, he was embarrassed for Jesse Waters, Greg Gutfeld. At the end of the show, he was reading text messages he got during the show, and the text messages were telling him how great he was. And Greg Gutfeld said, your producers must be afraid of you. There's not one negative one up there. Greg Gutfeld was laughing at him because it was such an egomaniac hour. He was insane. It seemed crazy to me. So if you caught Jesse Waters last night on Fox News, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Is your take like mine? I thought it was bizarre. Bizarre. And why is almost everybody he talked to on the street transgendered? Are there that many transgendered in New York, or did Jesse just gravitate to them in the street for the questions about himself? All right, our number toll free 1-888-COCAINE-1. I don't think I'm exaggerating. That show last night, I was embarrassed for him watching it. I can't believe. Oh. I'll be back at Greg Kelly tonight. Don't worry. I'm not going to become a regular Jesse Waters person. I watched it last night because it was the debut show, and I wanted to see how it came off the first night. All right, our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. We will be back right after this.
Brian Craig here. You've heard Steve Kane talk about the great job Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting did on his new roof. We have on the line John from Wellington, one of our regular callers. He just had his roof repaired by Laporta Contracting, and he wanted to share his experience.
Chris says, you're not too much different, Brian. You talk pretty highly of yourself, true or not. When you hear me talk highly of myself, I'm being sarcastic. And if you want to talk about ego, Steve, it's the Steve Kane Show, right? Steve has been telling me for 10 years to put my name on the show and change all the show opens and rejoiners and have it the Steve Kane, Brian Craig Show, and I've not done that. So if I had an ego, like Jesse Waters, you don't think I'd have my name on the show when Steve's been trying to get me to do it for 10 years? Please, no. That it's sarcasm, like when Rush said talent on loan from God. That's sarcasm. Jesse, that's not sarcasm. He's in love with himself. The guy probably masturbates to photographs of himself.
604-4602 and online, LaportaContracting.com.
When the pandemic hit America, our nation was caught off guard and unprepared. One of the biggest problems was we didn't have enough PPE because everything was made in China. There is a solution to this problem. Small Business Development Group has formed strategic manufacturers to produce medical exam
I was just reading something.
associated raw materials right here in the USA. This way, supply chain issues will never be a problem again. This project is U.S. funded, owned, and managed. Best of all, it's without reliance on the foreign supply chain. Investing in this critical infrastructure is important to the safety and defense of America. Now, here's where you come in. If you're an entrepreneur, venture capitalist, or high net worth individual interested in this investment opportunity, contact Small Business Development Group at 919 area code 654-6870. 919 area code 654-6870. Learn more about this incredible opportunity. 919-654-6870.
Small Business Development Group is a publicly traded company. Stock symbol SBDG. Online at c2cpic.com. Find strategic manufacturers online at strategicmanufacturers.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I was just reading something during the break. I'm sorry. 22 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Welcome back, one and all. Oh, my God. Oh, okay. So they call the Capitol breach an insurrection. Right? They got all these prisoners that have been denied their constitutional rights locked up at the D.C. Gitmo. And Newt Gingrich over the weekend said that Liz Cheney and others on that committee could go to jail, could face criminal charges when the Republicans take over the House. I'd like to hear that. Pissed off Liz Cheney. Listen to this. Brandon Straka. Brandon Straka was the founder of the Walk-Away movement. And we haven't heard about the Walk-Away movement because Brandon Straka got arrested during the Capitol breach. Brandon Straka, a New York hairdresser, lifelong Democrat, who, with our great president, Donald Trump in office, walked away from the Democrat Party, became MAGA, became a Republican, and formed this Walk-Away movement. He's a very high-profile guy, and the Walk-Away movement was a national sensation. It was huge. It was like Ice Bucket Challenge. It was like Macarena big, but it had staying power. And on January 6th, he got up there and was pushed with the crowd and got arrested and everything else. And I was very concerned about Brandon Straka. Well, listen to this. This is in Mediaite, which is left-wing. So I'm reading this from a liberal news source. Brandon Straka, a pro-Trump social media influencer. Well, they took his social media away from him, by the way. His Facebook group that had hundreds of thousands of walk-away people sharing their stories was taken away from him. Brandon Straka, a pro-Trump social media influencer and founder of the once popular walk-away movement, was sentenced Monday. Okay, he was sentenced Monday for his role in the insurrection. Listen to this. He was sentenced Monday to 3 months of home detention after pleading guilty to a disorderly conduct charge related to his role in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Straka, a former New York City hairstylist, pleaded guilty in October on charges relating to joining the pro-Trump mob that breached the U.S. Capitol, at times encouraging rioters to enter the building. Straka could be heard on video footage that day yelling, "Go, go, go," and "Take it," as rioters fought a Capitol police officer for his riot shield, according to court documents. The judge in the case that sentenced him did not, they say, comprehend the severity of his actions. It's very hard to draw that conclusion. Looking at the video footage and his comments at the time, and immediately thereafter, the judge said, noting that Straka told rioters, hold the line, as a police officer was under attack. Okay. If this was an attack and an insurrection, Brandon Straka was considered one of the leaders, right? Because he has this walk-away movement with hundreds of thousands of people who are part of his Facebook group. He's a leader of tens of thousands of former Democrats who woke up, walked away, and became Republican. And he's there and he's saying all these things. If it was an insurrection, he's one of the leaders, right? Why is he getting 3 months home detention? Geez. America was under months of home detention longer than that during the lockdowns. They gave him detention. Detention. I used to get detention in school. Had to go to Saturday's detention. You ever have to go to a Saturday detention? Oh my goodness. But he gets to do it at home with his cable, his Netflix, his internet. If there's in a country where a political leader is attempting to overthrow the government, do they normally get 3 months of detention in their home? He's ordering DoorDash, Instacart. You know, he can have anybody over. He's having parties, everything else. It doesn't sound like the leader of an insurrection to me. I'm starting to think that this narrative about an insurrection isn't true. You know? And I was worried about Straka because I like him. He's very good. He's very good and he's very important. He is as important to the MAGA movement as anyone else is whose name is not Trump. I mean, he's very important because he not only brought a bunch of Democrats over to the Republican Party, to President Trump, but because he's gay, he brought he's like a gay leader, right? He's led many, many gay people away from the Democrat Party to the Republican Party. Very important figure. So I thought they're going to throw the book at this guy, and the best they could get, they gave him detention. Doesn't sound like an insurrectionist leader to me. All right, our number 1, 888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening to us or watching us online as well. Those of you that watch us on YouTube, our YouTube feed is back up today. We had a tech issue yesterday with the streaming app, but we're back up on YouTube today. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, Greg, too. What's up?
Yeah, so you know what? As far as people question my, legal background, but people are being adjudicated, correct?
Okay. You're gonna use legal terms so people. What are you calling in about today?
No, what I'm saying is you just brought up that topic,
you're talking about Brandon Straka. Yeah, he's an insurrectionist leader, but they gave him 3 months detention.
You know,
it's like the Breakfast Club.
You know what? The verbiage is not important, but he's been adjudicated. He's been sentenced
to detention. Detention.
Right. So.
Oh my gosh. Detention. When someone leads an insurrection.
Detention is like a word. Who cares what the.
Well, because we're being. Listen, I don't support the Capitol breach. I wouldn't have gone in, and it was the wrong thing to do for anybody that went in there. Although many people were forced in by the crowd. Okay, and what Brandon Straka did. Slow down. I don't care what you would do. Slow down. Brandon Straka. I did see the video in question. Okay. And his actions were inappropriate. I don't support any of that. However, it was all wrong. However, if it was an insurrection against the United States government, I think he would get more than 3 months home detention.
What I'm saying is, if you listen, you wouldn't have done it, either would I. And at the end of the day,
I
these
hate that expression,
individuals
end of the
are
day.
getting adjudicated. Like this whole thing that, like Marilee Taylor Greene is suggesting. No, there are people being adjudicated. They're gonna get out.
But 3 months detention at home, does that sound like a sentence that you would hand down to someone that was trying to overthrow the United States government? Hello? No, come on. If someone commits treason and they're trying to overthrow the government of the United States, I would say minimum 20 years, 30 years. You don't give them 3 months home detention. It's not even 3 months incarceration.
They're getting treated fairly, right?
I mean, he's doing less time than Lori Loughlin, who went to prison for academic dishonesty. He's not even being put in a jail cell. He's getting to stay at home.
What I'm saying is, do you think they got a fair sentence?
I guess so. But I'm telling you that what we're being told that this was an insurrection against the government, and I'm seeing people convicted of many things, most of them very minor, like Brandon Straka, who obviously was a leader. I mean, he had a lot of people there. He was telling people to let's go and all this stuff, and they gave him 3 months home detention. That's very mild. That's not an insurrectionist type sentencing.
Sentence?
I guess so. I mean, what's your opinion? You haven't rendered an opinion.
I think it was more than a fair opinion. And
Okay. All right, Greg. Hey, listen, Greg, thanks for the call. I got to run for a break. 32 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. We'll be right back.
Hi, Brian Craig here. We've been telling you on the Steve Kane Show for coronavirus testing.
Steve Kane Show.
Lab test now of Coral Springs and any lab test now
Yes, hold on.
of Boca. One of our longtime sponsors, Dr. Mitch Matez of the Boca Raton Center for Age Management, went to any lab test now of Boca for coronavirus testing this weekend, and he called in live on the radio to share his experience.
Listen, Brian, I have a great experience to tell you about. I went to any lab test now on Saturday to get COVID-19 tested, and it was awesome. We had a little experience where we had somebody in our close circle that tested positive after 10 days, by the way. Went and had a test. It took 10 days to get the results. We all went into a little bit of a panic, obviously, so we called up any lab test now. It was about maybe 11:30 in the morning on Saturday. They said, come on right on over. I was anonymous. I didn't announce myself. We went over there. We got there about noon. We checked in. 2 minutes later, they took us back, did our test. We sat in the waiting room for less than 15 minutes. They brought us back, gave us our results, which were negative, and we were on our way home. And a little shout out to Brittany, the nice young lady who did our test. It was completely painless. It was quick, it was simple, it was easy, and it gave you both the IgM and the IgG antibodies, which tells you if you have the infection now or if you've been exposed to it in the past.
Now, you went to any lab test now of Boca?
Boca Raton, yeah, in the Sandalfoot Plaza.
Awesome.
It was awesome. It really was. It was cool. And it's easy, it's simple, and I'm telling you, that's the way to go. Forget this 10-day nonsense.
Doctor recommended. Can I say that in the commercial now? Doctor recommended. Any lab test now of Boca Raton.
There you go. Doctor recommended. Yeah, it was really kind of cool, and it was wonderful, and it was easy. And listen, to that end, go over and get tested. This is the test you want to get. It tells you point blank, did you have it, do you have it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's great. So Dr. Mitch Matez personally recommending any lab test now of Boca.
You heard Dr. Mitch Matez. Any lab test now of Boca is doctor recommended for coronavirus testing. They're located in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro on the east side of 441. Give them a call, 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood over by the Coral Square Mall. Their number, 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, 35 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Welcome back, one and all. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Patty, and I'm from Chicago.
Patty in Chicago. What's up?
Okay, so I didn't watch Jesse Waters' show last night, but did you watch The Five at all?
I did not watch The Five.
Jesse Waters on The Five had Steve Doocy on. He was so rude. He referred to him as a son of a bitch. Oh, gosh, for about 10 minutes or 15.
Yeah, I did see a clip of that online. Okay, that, Biden called Doocy, I'll play the clip. He called Doocy a son of a b. Here it is.
More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Okay, so Jesse was trying to be funny by calling Doocy, I guess, the son of a b.
Funny, but he kept going. And he kept saying, how does it feel now that your career, you will always be referred to as a son of a bitch?
Well,
career is always rude.
Now this, I saw a clip of it. I didn't see The Five. I saw a clip of that online, okay? But this is what may be happening with Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters, his ego is, let me tell you, I've known people that have enormous ego problems. That show of his last night was the worst I've ever seen. And this was supposed to be his big day. His big day, like, because he was debuting his show. This thing accidentally happened with Doocy and Biden yesterday, and the lead story everywhere was Doocy. So everyone on Fox is talking about Doocy because of the Biden thing, and maybe Jesse was jealous that he, was taking away his big day, and maybe that's what was going on there.
Maybe, but it wasn't. It was originally funny. I laughed. I chuckled. But
the first 3 times, yeah.
Yeah. Can I bring up something you didn't, not related to the show?
Okay.
So everybody is talking about what I hear. I can't stand when people on the conservative side do this. That Bill Maher is some kind of hero for conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the entire show after people said this. He actually said during his show that the next election was going to be stolen.
Yeah. Oh, in 24? Okay, this thing with Bill Maher, okay, because Bill Maher's been talking in his... I have HBO, but I don't watch Bill Maher's show. I used to like him. In fact, when he had his ABC show, Politically Incorrect, my wife and I were in Los Angeles, and we were in the studio audience of that show once, and... Norm Macdonald, who recently died, was one of the guests, and it was they filmed it right next to The Price is Right, and we went and saw it. And I used to, but his rant against mandates is about a year late. He's still very liberal, and and I would not make Bill Maher our conservative savior here. You got to be very, very careful.
They all feel like if he says one thing 2 years later that he's come.
Well, here's the thing with Bill Maher and why. And by the way, let me tell you, before he did this HBO show, even when he had his ABC show, Politically Incorrect, it was left wing. It was called Politically Incorrect, but it was actually politically correct. He wasn't as self-important as a political mover and shaker like he is now. He sits there on a throne, and you know what I mean, and he's up on high. But let me tell you this: I stopped following anything Bill Maher does when he made that anti-Christian movie many years ago. I do not like atheists. I don't care what religion you are. I'm Christian. I'm a Catholic. I don't care if you're Hindu or Muslim. I don't care what your religion is, unless you're an atheist. Atheists creep me out. I don't like atheists. I feel really weird around atheists. But when someone is an atheist and then they spend a big portion of their life advocating that and everything else, I have nothing to do with that. So when he did that atheist movie, I was a big fan of Ricky Gervais. until I found out he was an atheist, and he made a movie called The Invention of Lying, which is an atheist, anti-religious movie. I watched that movie, Invention of Lying. I didn't know what he was about, and it was disgusting to me, and I don't watch Ricky Gervais anymore. So I just, when someone's an atheist, so these conservative YouTubers, you know, like S.E. Cupp on CNN's an atheist. She used to be on The Blaze with Glenn Beck, and I don't listen to anything. Atheism is evil to me. It's the devil.
But can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Told his audience what they should do is that Harris and 3.4 should.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he can do whatever he wants, but I tell you, I got no time for atheists. Okay. Now, I want to mention one. Thanks for the call, by the way. I want to mention one thing unrelated before the next break. You know who Leah Thomas is? Leah Thomas. Leah Thomas is that transgendered swimmer, born a man. And I was reading the Post Millennial, which is an online conservative website with great news and information. It's out of Canada, but they have all the news going on in America, the postmillennial.com. And I read the Post Millennial most every day, and they have an article about the transgendered swimmer. And and by the way, the transgendered swimmer, Leah Thomas, swims for the University of Pennsylvania. And a team member came out and said, women are now third-class citizens, trans swimmers, University of Pennsylvania teammate speaks out. And I thought, well, let me read that article. And the article has photographs of Leah Thomas in the swimsuit, one from behind wearing a thong thing. I didn't need to see that at all. I'm not sure what's, I saw Caitlyn Jenner. I grew up with Bruce Jenner, and we had Bruce Jenner on the Steve Kane Show once by accident. And I don't have this on tape. I wish I did. It all happened on accident. This was after the O.J. trial, murder trial, but during the civil trial when the Goldmans took O.J. to court. And Bruce Jenner, Steve and I were on 940 Winds in Miami at the time, and we were in a building that had about 10 or 12 other radio stations in it, news stations, music stations, in North Miami. And Bruce Jenner was at the radio station doing some interviews promoting something that he was doing. I can't remember what it was, but he was on all these FM morning shows. And he came in the control room. I was just running the board. I wasn't on the air so much then like I am now. But Bruce Jenner was waiting for his next interview, and he came down in the control room and sat behind me. And Steve was talking about the O.J. civil trial. And I was amazed to be with Bruce Jenner because when I was a kid growing up, he was the big Olympian on the Wheaties box and everything. And we didn't know, and I did know that he was married to Robert Kardashian's ex-wife. We didn't know who the Kardashians were or anything. And Bruce Jenner said, this was about, he says, do you think this guy, he was talking about Steve, would mind if and Steve was taking calls from O.J. Simpson defenders, black callers defending O.J. Simpson's murders. And Bruce Jenner said, do you think he would mind if I went in there and took some calls with him? And I said, are you kidding, Bruce Jenner? No way would he. He would not mind at all. And during the break, I told Steve, I said, hey, Bruce Jenner wants to come in here with you. He said, bring him in. And Bruce Jenner and Steve Kane did an hour of radio taking calls from black callers in the listening audience who were very happy that O.J. Simpson got away with murder. And he was on the air, and he says, listen, O.J. Simpson was one of my best friends. I was very close to Nicole, and he did it, and it was Nicole. Oh, my goodness. If I had that on tape, I don't. If I had that on tape, that would be a viral video. It was absolutely amazing. And he was on Chips and everything when I was growing up, and I was a huge fan of Bruce Jenner. And that just amazed me, that whole thing. So, I've always had a lot of respect for Bruce Jenner. But anyway, I saw Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner now, This was before all the Caitlyn stuff. We didn't know about Bruce back then. In fact, I remember Bruce Jenner was wearing a suit and tie, like a business suit, when he was on the show. And he's a big guy. So I imagine he's a big gal right now. Oh, my goodness. But that was an amazing show. I don't know how many of you remember that show, but it was an it was one of the most exciting hours of radio that you've ever heard. And it's just in my mind a little bit, but man, I wish I had tape of that. But anyway, you'll just take my word for it. It was great. It was, oh man. But anyway, Caitlyn Jenner was on Fox last week talking about this transgendered swimmer. And, of course, he's opposed to it. And he's got all those medals from the 76 Olympics. He says, could you imagine? He said, after I won all the medals in 76, if I came back in 1980 and competed as a woman, I would have won everything. What would they have done? And the women's competition, too. He says it's ridiculous. But I'll tell you about these women swimmers, okay? These women swimmers. And I've been saying this since this story's been in the news, and I'm glad one of them has spoken out against this. Bruce Jenner said that he has these advantages against his lungs are bigger, was one thing he talked about, which allows him to be a better swimmer. I didn't even think about that. But I don't know what's going on with these other female swimmers. Are they woke and think it's cool or not? Because he's destroying their lives and careers. He's beating all the records by 30 seconds, 38 seconds. Usually records are broken in swimming by 100th of a second. And this Leah Thomas, transgender swimmers, breaking the records by like 38 seconds, 36 seconds. These are records that if they're allowed to stand, will never be broken by a woman. Okay? Just won't, unless there's another transgendered one that comes along. But the lady swimmers, what I've advocated on this program they should do was this. Protest every swimming competition with the transgendered swimmer. Get on the board, ready to dive in, and when the buzzer goes off, don't jump in. Let Leah Thomas beat themselves, swim against themselves and win every race, and don't dive in the water. And do it as a protest. And let me tell you, they did that once, everybody on the planet Earth would be talking about it. They get some feedback, and a lot of it may be negative, okay? But I think that would be spectacular. There are no longer women's sports anymore, and this is wrong, what's going on. And, you know, these lady swimmers, they have dedicated their lives to this, a lot of these women. At the university level, a lot of these girls have spent more time in the pool than out of the pool. Since they were little girls, and then this transgendered swimmer comes along and beats this is ridiculous. It's like, I always say, it's like that episode of Seinfeld when Kramer was bragging that he was the karate champion at his karate school, and Jerry and George and Elaine go to watch him compete at the tournament, and he's fighting he's doing karate against 5-year-olds. Remember that? It was ridiculous. That's what's going on here, and it's just wrong. And if they refuse to dive in and just did the thing and did a protest, but I don't know, do these lady swimmers, are they woke and think it's cool, or are they afraid they'll be branded transphobic and are afraid to do it? I don't know. All right, let's take our break. We'll be right back. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments,
appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number is 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Search for WWNN.
Alrighty, we are back 8 minutes before the top of the hour. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Steve Kane will be joining us in the next hour. You know, last week we were talking about Howard Stern, who made a career fighting the system, fighting this, the establishment, wanting to deny life-saving medical treatment for those that don't bend to the will of the federal government that he made a career fighting against. Okay, so there's one of your liberal social justice fighters, revolutionaries, whatever you call Howard Stern, out. Now Neil Young, old Vietnam protest singer, who I find to be very mediocre, Neil Young. Now, that's not my generation, so it's not fair for me to necessarily say. However, Neil Young's in the news today involving Joe Rogan. And it says, Neil Young comes out in favor of censorship, demands that Spotify drop Joe Rogan. Canadian rock icon Neil Young, I did not know he was Canadian, posted an open letter to his record label demanding his music library be removed from Spotify due to Joe Rogan's misinformation about COVID and vaccinations, and it goes on. I did not know he was Canadian. I assumed, did Neil Young not make his way being protesting the war in Vietnam? I didn't realize he was a foreign agent. That's news to me. But the last time I'm very shocked at this story, and what shocks me about it is that Neil Young's still alive. I thought he had passed away. I hadn't heard about Neil Young in a long time. But when G.W. Bush was running for re-election, Neil Young came out with an album. Oh my goodness. An anti-Iraq war album. And the left-wing media were so excited that they were Neil Young's producing a new album. They thought it was going to change the world, right? They thought Neil Young was going to come out with this album, this new they were trying to restart. This is like 04, 03. The Vietnam War protesters, they were older, but they weren't ancient, and they were trying to get these Vietnam War protest icons that had not OD'd and died in their own vomit and hotel rooms around the world, that the ones that were left start, the protest against the war in Iraq. And Neil Young announced that he was going to have an album out. It was going to be against the war in Iraq, and it was about George Bush and all this stuff. And I remember CNN went to interview him at the recording studio, and Neil Young came, and he comes outside and he says, "I haven't even recorded the songs yet. This is, I've never been interviewed about an album before I've even recorded the songs. This is amazing." And there was this buildup that went on for months and months about this Neil Young anti-war album that was going to change the world, turn the tide against Bush and Cheney and in the war in Iraq. The album came out. I would rather listen to a jackhammer on the concrete at the sidewalk than listen. It was the ugliest music I've ever heard. It was beyond noise. It was the worst music I've ever heard in my life. And when it came out, it was so bad it disappeared. No one talked about Neil Young again. So that was like 04, 05, 03. I don't know what year exactly that was, but it was between 03 and 05. And we haven't heard from Neil Young since. So our anti-establishment guy, now all of a sudden he wants to bend to the government too? What happened to these old hippies? I don't know. Now, I do know this, that when it comes to vitamins, when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to your health, there's only one place to go, and that's AJ's Natural Wellness Shop in the Festival Marketplace. Janet Cimarelli, good morning.
I want to tell all of your listeners about Supercell.
Yeah.
I started thinking about this, and people recovering from COVID, some of them have some neurological damage. Some of them have circulatory damage. Some of them have respiratory system damage. And I think I've got some really good support, either protection so that there is not significant damage if you are exposed to the virus, or for your recovery. And what's in Supercell? Ashwagandha, that's going to reduce inflammation and antioxidant protection for your healthy cells. Astragalus, support for your immune inflammation, and supportive of your cardiovascular system. Okay, for those of you out there who might be a little stressed and anxious because of what's going on in the world, holy basil. Holy basil is such a and calming herb, but in addition, it's good for your blood sugar. It's very good for healing a wound. It is supportive of collagen, the most common protein all through your body, a healing protein. Then there's rhodiola. It's good for your energy. It's good for mental fatigue. I think there are a few of us out there who might have some mental fatigue, help you with managing your stress. Shazandra with his like a tonic. It gives you endurance. You'll get through the day and you won't be exhausted at the end of the day. And maca and amla, both antibacterial, antiviral, supportive of your brain and endurance, really good for, they're like tonics. They really are. Amla being really high in C. And maca being a hormone balancer in addition to all of the other things that it does. And that's in one formula. All of that, and it's called Supercell. And it's Supercell because it is going to be supportive of every aspect of every different system's cellular makeup. So you can come on in and talk to us at AJ's and figure out, well, what's the right path for your individual health concerns. You want to prevent something, you want to address an issue, come on in, we'll talk.
Yeah, and I know a lot of our listeners have been stopping by. I've had listeners send me photographs and video of themselves driving to AJ's Natural Wellness Shop in the Festival Marketplace. Someone sent me a video yesterday. They were inside the festival, walking up to AJ's Natural right there in the festival. So the word's out. AJ's Natural Wellness Shop in the Festival Marketplace. Very easy to find. The festival Marketplace is immediately east of the Turnpike on the south side of Sample Road in Pompano. The festival inside is very easy to find. Head straight back towards the food court. Yes. Yes, which is west. And when you see the information booth, that's where AJ's is, and it's very easy to find. Now, today's Tuesday. Every Tuesday and Friday at 10 a.m. on all of our radio stations, you can catch Janet Cimarelli's radio show at 10 a.m. All of our radio stations, including iHeartRadio and the TuneIn app, 10 a.m. Tuesday, that's today, and Fridays. You can also call AJ's Natural. They ship anywhere locally if you don't drive and can't make it in, or even out of town and out of state. 954-317-1851. And if you're getting your supplements elsewhere, give them a call. Talk to Janet Cimarelli. Talk to Anita. I think you'll find that you'll save some money with AJ's Natural.
Way in from the parking lot, just give us a call, what you want, and when you pull up to the Mardi Gras entrance, we'll run your package right out to you.
Oh, wow. Curbside service. That's awesome. So the number is 954-317-1851. 954-317-1851 for AJ's Natural Wellness Shop in the Festival Marketplace. All right, Janet Cimarelli, we'll talk tomorrow. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. Back after this with the third hour of today's show.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone. I new and
my
used
throat
tires.
is so dry
Again,
today because
my
the
number is
cold.
954
I'm sorry for the clear in my throat.
977-9445. Thank you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GAIN-1. That's 1-888-GO-GAIN-1.
Okay, hour number 3 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. This year celebrating 45 years on the radio here in Florida since 1977. Steve Kane will be joining us after the next break. Welcome back. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Joe Biden's in big trouble. Just 6 in 10 black Americans say they approve of Biden. Now, for you snowflakes out there, 6 in 10 means 60% of blacks approve of Biden. Biden's in big trouble with the black vote. And I know what you're saying. Well, wait a minute. He's got 60% of the black vote. That's great. That's the majority of the minority, right? 6 in 10. Well, here's the problem. He currently has 60% approval among black Americans. 6 months ago, this is according to the Associated Press, by the way, liberal. 6 months ago, Joe Biden had 90% approval among blacks. He's down 30 points among blacks. And this is the thing about the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party believes that they represent the majority viewpoint. That is not the case. They are a collection of special interest groups, liberal blacks, liberal gays, a bunch of different, we can come up with all kinds, and it's a loose coalition like the United Nations of people that really don't like one another that much, but they unify against the Republicans. And what happens is, this is the Trump effect, by the way, when you start trimming off a percentage of the black vote, a percentage of the gay vote with Brandon Straka, a percentage of the women vote, and all this stuff. Next thing you know, their party's done, and that's what's happening. And a lot of this, there's a lot of things that factor into this. A lot of it's Trump, right? Because what Trump did was change the expectations that the American people have for their leadership. Like I saw this, Willie Brown's girlfriend yesterday got off an airplane, all this stuff going on in Ukraine. Yeah, Kamala Harris, who Biden says he's in love with. Talking about what's going on in Ukraine, and she says she's been briefed. And I remember the last week when there was that Al Qaeda terrorist attack at the synagogue in Texas. I turn on the news. President Biden's been briefed on the situation. Trump didn't get briefed. He was a man of action. Other presidents and vice presidents before Trump, all they did was get briefed all day. They get briefed. Oh, okay. And then they don't do anything and let the thing work out on its own, like this supply chain crisis, like this inflationary problem that's going on in this country where people can't afford to buy groceries like they used to or fill up a tank of gas. That Biden's been briefed about it, and then he sits back, does nothing, and hope it works itself out. People want action. They want results. Oh, he's been briefed. Oh, okay. Wow. That's okay. Oh, that's great. He's been briefed. Well, what's he doing about it? Well, he's being briefed regularly. Oh, okay. What the hell does that mean? That's what we used to get before Trump. Now, I want to recap in this final hour what I started the show with at 6, because I think this is important. This business with Biden calling Steve Doocy a son of a bee yesterday. This is not some funny, cute thing to do victory laps and everything about. Let me play this for you. Okay, this is the moment in question.
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
What a stupid son of a bee. Okay. Then, less than an hour later, he called Doocy, and it wasn't an apology, but listen.
And we have some news tonight.
This is Doocy.
Years of clips of the president and I kind of mixing it up on the campaign trail and during the transition and here at the White House. Within about an hour of that exchange, he called my cell phone and he said, "It's nothing personal, pal." And we went back and forth and we were talking about just kind of moving forward.
Okay. Now this is an interesting thing. Now the media are saying that, oh, Biden called to apologize for the hot mic slip. That wasn't an apology. That was not an apology. Biden, like last week when he told in that press conference it was okay for Putin to have a small incursion into Ukraine. He didn't say what that is. Is it 50 miles in, 150, 250, 500 miles? I don't know what a small incursion is. And then they spent the next day taking that back. The way that Doocy explained what they're billing as an apology, somebody told him, you've got to call him and apologize. I'm not apologizing. I'm a cranky old, he's cranky old coot, right? Cranky old senile coot. Not apologize. You got to do it, sir. There's a problem. Okay, This was a passive-aggressive apology. They made Biden call Doocy to do an apology, and he wasn't going to do an apology. It's not personal, kid. You know what I mean? So he made the call that his handlers made him do, but he didn't apologize because he's the big man on campus. And what I was talking about at 6, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, by the way, at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. There have been 3 incidents now. We've got 3 incidents in the last couple of days of Biden showing that his cognitive decline has reached to the level of senility. That's why he did it. It's like, oh, it's not personal, kid. Making me apologize. I'm not apologizing. Saying what he's done with this, at this current stage of senility, he has lost the ability to control his mouth. okay? A lot of times, when someone is in very severe cognitive decline, like someone with Alzheimer's, they lose control of what they say and of their actions. They lose their inhibitions because their mind's not working. They've lost the filter. It's part of cognitive decline. So we have three incidents. Two of them I just played, right? Son of a bee, and then this not apology phone call. Then over the weekend, in this live video meeting with Kamala Harris, he professed his love for Kamala.
Mama, I love you. You always have my back. You're really amazing. You're the best partner I could imagine.
Wow, tell that to Jill. How do you think Jill took that? I love you. I believe, now this is my belief on this, okay? We all agree that Joe Biden's a pervert. Is there anyone out there who does not agree that Joe Biden is a pervert? Right? Is he not a creep? Yes. I mean, if you don't think he's a perv, I'd love to hear that argument. I believe he's coming on to Kamala Harris there. I believe Joe Biden is not only coming on to Kamala Harris, I think he's trying to make presidential history with Kamala Harris by being the first president and vice president to have sex with one another. That's what I think is going on. I think he's busting some moves on Kamala. Maybe he's gotten some tips from Willie Brown. I don't know. But that's what's going... This guy's a creep. You've seen it. This is not, you've seen his behavior all over the place. That was an example of his creepiness. But it's also an example of his cognitive decline becoming so severe that he's losing that filter, that he's just saying whatever pops in his brain. It's like when you're drunk, you lose inhibitions when you're intoxicated. That's what's going on with Joe Biden. And, yeah. And I'll tell you, there's no way Kamala's not upset about this. She's got a reputation of being, she's got a reputation of being with the Willie Brown thing. She does not appreciate this kind of thing going down. She does not appreciate these types of comments calling into question such things, okay? Because this is something that's, believe me, she lives with in Washington every day what Pelosi and all the rest say about Willie Brown's girlfriend. This is a thing that's behind her back all the time. Remember, Nancy Pelosi, Willie Brown was the mayor of San Francisco. And Kamala Harris first met Pelosi when she was introduced as Willie Brown's date to the evening. And there's photographs of this. So there's no way that this snooty, snobby Nancy Pelosi thinks anything other than terrible things about Kamala Harris. And there's probably other things and rumors that we don't even know about her that go around. So when you have a creepy pervert like Joe Biden telling this woman in front of the world that he loves her, she always has his back, and he could not imagine having a better partner? Really? Joe Biden? Does Joe Biden have an opinion on that? I thought she was your partner. Yeah. So it's more examples of his cognitive decline, which is very dangerous, especially when he's driving us into another military conflict after he just lost the war in Afghanistan. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. And anything I've brought up since 6 o'clock is fair game. We're going to take our first break of the third hour of the program. Steve Kane will be joining us. And our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Stacy from Deerfield Beach. This is in reference to Champagne Automotive. I went over there. They're wonderful. I have a Kia Optima Eco Hybrid. When I called, it needed service. I didn't want to bring it to the dealership because they would charge me through the roof. And basically, when I did call, they said bring it in the next day. He's amazing. He did everything. He didn't overcharge me. He went through my car, and I would recommend anybody to go to him. He's absolutely amazing.
Well, Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca, they do great work, and I want to thank you for calling. And I learned something about Champagne Automotive Repair from you in this call. I did not know that they actually did repairs on hybrid vehicles.
What had happened was when I brought it to the dealership, they were like, well, we want to do this, we want to do that. And when I heard about Champagne Automotive, I called when I got there, and I said, he goes, well, I already ordered the oil filter.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. And so I dropped it off. I don't have many people to take me back home. And so he ordered Uber for me.
Wow.
Yes.
That's service. Thank you for the call as well. And anyone else out there, Champagne Automotive Repair, their prices are great. They'll never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. Their number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Steve Kane Show.
And thank you very much, Champagne Automotive.
Okay, hold on.
Thank you very much, Brian and Steve.
For Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca, 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, 16 minutes after the hour, it's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve joining us. You with us, Steve? Yeah. Oh, I hope I didn't gross you out too much in the last segment with Biden's perviness.
You were saying it's kind of an interesting theory. My own thought is that perhaps if in fact there was hanky-panky going on between Biden and Kamala, she might brag on that. She might take that as another scalp on her belt.
Well, to me, Joe Biden's a pervert and a creep, okay? And he probably uses every opportunity available to him to have a woman have sex with him, and he may, all this talk of her not being on the ticket with him, maybe he's using the being on the ticket as a way to make his move. You know what I mean? Well, you can be on the ticket if...
I just can see Kamala not being ashamed of that.
I don't think she'd brag about that. That really? That she's... Nah, I can't imagine.
She can be proud of it. She slept with the president?
No, I don't think so. She's not Monica Lewinsky. She's like Vice President of the United States. I don't think she'd brag about that. Especially being Biden. No, I can't imagine. Ugh. All right, let's try to move...
After all said and done, he is the president.
Yeah. But that thought, boy, I'm sorry I brought it up. All right, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Let's take a call or two to try to clean my mind of these terrible thoughts. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. I wondered if you
Steve Kane Show.
Heard the man say what we need
Steve Kane Show.
is radical federalism.
Hello? No.
Is getting back to the Constitution.
Uh-huh.
A radical federal system is like a confederated system, and I'm talking about.
Hey, Barry.
There was something else in the Civil War besides just slavery. It was federal tyranny, and that was.
No, you gotta. I'm going to say this to you because I know you, Christian, and you're a good guy, and I know we're friends. We ran into each other at the Trump boat parade in Jupiter. So now, but here's you got a little bit of information and not enough. The Civil War was about the states' rights against federal tyranny of ending the slavery business. Okay, the Civil War was about slaves, and that's all it was about. It was about the states' rights to allow slavery to continue. It wasn't about, and it was, and Lincoln, the first Republican, was an abolitionist president from the anti-slavery movement. So don't let these fake MAGA patriot front types pollute your brain with anything else other than that.
Robert E. Lee did not like slavery?
Then why did he own them? No, you've got him a little bit confused with U.S. Grant. Okay, in fact, but I would rather talk about issues of 2022 and not 1862. Well, I'm going to agree with you on that. I'll agree with you on that. This is a very good show. Yes, it's a very good show. But we don't. But listen. It does not. It does not help President Trump when MAGA people who wear MAGA hats like you are defending the Confederacy, the General Lee, and no, there was nothing else there. There was nothing else there, and it doesn't. When you. No, let me. I just want to tell you this. When yeah, because they were poor, but the ones in power did. But this is the deal, okay? Like, for example, when they show the Capitol breach, and one of our MAGA hat-wearing guys has the Confederate flag on his shoulder, I mean, that just doesn't help, man. So, we don't need Confederates. We don't need Confederate MAGA. In fact, what you do with that, and I'm serious about this, and I'm telling you this as a friend. I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm not talking to you like I talked to Greg too, okay? When you, because Christian here, he's like me, right? He wears MAGA gear, MAGA hats all the time. He's proud MAGA. When you talk this way, you help the Democrats. Because then they say, somebody like Joy Reid say, see, look, there's MAGA telling us what a great guy General Lee was, and the Confederacy was more than that. And no, that's, stay away from that. That's terrible. That does not help. All right? All right, take care. Oh, my goodness. He's a good guy, though. Just a little misguided. All right, it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. What do you have for us today, Barry?
Well, I saw a website, an agency website that was talking about how you get on Medicaid. Is that you spend down your assets until you get down to $2,000 in assets, and then you can qualify. That's exactly the story of what happened to my grandmother, the advice she was given. And for those of you who have heard me here or come in, you know that that's not what we want to do. What we're looking to do is we want to protect our assets so we don't go broke. We all go out and hopefully buy insurance for all the things that we want to cover, the risks that we have in our life, whether it be, homeowners, flood insurance, auto insurance, disability, long-term care, the list goes on and on. And we're insuring those risks. And those premiums can cost a lot of money. But for the cost of long-term care, if you don't have long-term care insurance or don't have enough long-term care insurance, the pre-planning for Medicaid can be very simple, very inexpensive, and talk about bang for your buck. For example, for a lot of people, all it may take is doing a power of attorney with the correct language in it to help make sure that we can get around the fact that there's too much in income. If we do that, then we could potentially end up protecting everything and protect ourselves from losing everything if we or our spouse become ill. So to do that and to be able to protect everything, especially when the chances of needing long-term care in the future are very high, it makes a lot of sense, and it's something I would urge everyone to make sure that you come see us so we can take a look at your situation and take some very simple steps to protect you in the future.
Yeah, that's right. And when Attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group help you down this path of Medicaid planning, it not only does it preserve your assets, but sometimes a surviving spouse is left completely broke because that at-home care, that nursing home care is eating up everything. Surviving spouse has got nothing left, and they gotta figure out a way. It doesn't have to be that way. Call the Siegel Law Group. It's a free consultation with the Siegel Law Group. If you mention you heard Barry on the radio, the number Toll free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782 and online SiegelLawGroup.com. Attorney Barry Siegel. All right, Barry, we'll talk later in the week. All right, take care. All right, Steve, you with us? Oh, okay, good. Did you happen to catch? You probably didn't, but did you happen to catch Jesse Waters' new show last night? No. Oh my goodness! I was calling. If anybody, it was so strange, Steve. If anybody out there caught the Jesse Waters debut show, it was. You thought Sean Hannity had ego problems? Sean Hannity is a together with it guy who's very humble compared to Jesse Waters. And I've never seen, I've seen him do his ego thing, but only for a couple minutes because he's on these panel shows. I never watched a Saturday night show. And in a panel show, when he's only talking for a minute or two, it's funny, it's cute, it's clever. But a whole hour, I am not making this up. Okay. He comes on, he talks about how great he is and his career has been. Then he goes out in the street and asks people on the street about himself and how great they think he is. Then he's back in the studio with guests for the rest of the hour, and then he asks them about how great they think he is. And it was not a joke. It was serious. It was so weird. Gutfeld was even on the air live trying to help him get out of this. He does this thing where you can text message him during the show, and they'll read the text at the end of the show. So at the end of the show, he has Gutfield there with Perino, and he's like, okay, let's show the text messages. Every text message was telling Jesse how great he is. And Greg Gutfeld said, your producers must be terrified of you because they're all so complimentary. It was weird. And then he had Tucker Carlson on, and what he did with Tucker Carlson was play clips of people like on The View talking about him. It was kind of like when someone like Johnny Carson retires and they do this final show with the clips of everything. It was like that, but this was the first show, and it was very uncomfortable to watch. And if it's going to be that way, it's going to be a train wreck.
It's going to go through some evolutions here at the beginning. I mean, it's
Steve Kane
trial
Show.
And error. And
I
think this aspect of his character that he tries to turn into a comedy thing about being a Jewish mama's boy, mom, that doesn't work for me.
Jacqueline, $20 super chat. Thank you. Everyone, thank Jacqueline. Yeah, Albert Brooks does that a little bit. He did a movie with, about that. It's funny if you're a talented comedian, but it doesn't work with Jesse Waters. He's Jewish?
They don't go into that aspect of it, but that's what the image they're creating.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, Steve. And when I say that he makes Hannity look humble, I'm not kidding. He did more resume touting than Hannity. Anyway, let's take some calls. If anybody saw Jesse Waters, if you think I'm being too hard on Jesse, let me know. Oh.
It won't.
Yeah. 1-888-GO-CANE1's our number. You're on the radio. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Bill from Pennsylvania.
Hey, Bill.
How you doing? Hey, listen, I think you're overreacting to Jesse Waters' show also, like Steve just said. You got to give it time to mature. Jesse was all tongue-in-cheek yesterday. That's exactly...
No, he was not.
He was all tongue-in-cheek because that's his skit.
No.
Watch Waters World? Did you ever watch it?
Yeah, I the Saturday night show, not too much.
Okay, but you ever watch Waters World, okay?
No, I was not a watcher of that.
On O'Reilly. Okay.
On O'Reilly was a segment. You can do it. That's different than doing a whole show. He literally did this. Enough of me. What do you think about me?
What?
He did this. That old thing that people say. Enough about me. What do you think? And then he brings on. Then he brings on. Yeah.
You got to be able to either tape his show or tape Newsmax. You'll be able to watch both of them, and you'll relate to both of them over.
After Jesse Waters spent the first segment telling us how great he thought he was, then he brought on Tucker Carlson to ask Tucker Carlson what he thought about how great he was. Then he had Kellyanne Conway on. It was not. Then did you see the
individual?
Did you watch the end with Gutfeld and Perino? Okay.
Did you watch the 5? Gutfeld started him on the 5, called him an SOB. On, and he...
Yeah, at the end, okay. It was not. At the end, I'm talking about his 7 o'clock show, not the 5.
5, oh, did you...
What, are you his dad or his agent?
No, I'm just...
Okay, no. Well, let's slow down. I'm not attacking you. That was a joke. That was a joke. Let me finish. I want to hear your opinion.
But you have to put your big boy pants on a little bit.
Big boy pants?
Give him a shot, okay?
Now, at the end, well, put your big boy pants on and take part in a conversation. Take part... excuse me, if you did, you would allow me to speak and respond to what I'm saying like I'm doing to you. You haven't stopped talking. At the end of the show... thank you. At the end of the show, you're interrupting again. You ready? Or are you waiting to talk? Okay, if you go back to the end of the show, and I'm serious about this, and you know I've got experience with doing a show, believe it or not. At the end, when Gutfeld came in and they did the thing with the text messages, and they were all complimentary of him, telling him how great he was, and Greg Gutfeld said, "Your producers must be terrified of you." And he gave him some other tips. And what he was telling him subtly is, you got to have negative ones up there. This is too egocentric. He was trying to get him to calm down his ego a little bit. Greg Gutfeld was embarrassed for Jesse Waters at the end of that show, and that was my observation. But it doesn't mean I like Jesse Waters. I like Jesse Waters. I don't dislike him. Yes.
Because it carried over from the 5, and he was already telling him that you're too egotistical, you're this, you're going to fail. I'm talking about Gutfeld.
All right, guys, I think we're overreacting to one show, and it was the first show. Hold on.
Thanks.
I mean, you got to figure he's going to try a lot of stuff. Some of it will work, some of it, a lot of it, this kind of stuff is trial and error.
Right, thank you.
And I'm sure that they processed what went on during the show, and I'm sure.
Oh yes.
Adjustments.
I'm just talking about last night's, and well, hold on, caller, and when you said
Listen to you, Brian. Don't understand that there's going to be audibles. He doesn't understand that because he wants to go right out right now and go right after.
I'm talking about the first show now, and this thing about the joking about the ego thing with Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld. Greg Gutfeld's brilliant. He's beating these late night guys on the networks like Colbert in the ratings. He's a brilliant person. Well, it's on too late for me. But this is the thing, though. Okay, Gutfeld, for this joking about for a joke to be funny, there has to be truth to it, some truth, for it to be funny. Okay, and that ego thing, joking between with Gutfeld, is brutal honesty, trying to help Jesse Waters come down to earth a little bit.
The point is, it's still sparring. They were still sparring.
Okay, take care. Thanks. Hey, thanks for the call. Thanks for the call. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Jim in Ohio.
Hey, Jim.
Mike Cold, Ohio.
Hey, Jim, what's up?
I caught Jesse's show, and I went through a little bit of schooling for broadcasting. I've done some DJing and whatnot. And what I was always taught was self-praise is not a good thing when you're trying to reach a group of people. You don't sit there and have a self-suckfest kind of thing. What you do is quote the other people, for the most part, acknowledging I don't know if that's even the proper word. There have been a lot of people that have put Waters up on a pedestal lately. He's got some important positions in Fox at night.
Everyone thank Jacqueline for that super chat, by the way.
I think he hurt himself. I think you're right, Brian. I know I turned it off before the end.
Well, and I'll give you an example. Like, if you listen to this show, you've probably heard me say once or twice, the Steve Kane Show is the longest-running radio show in the state of Florida on the radio since 1977, celebrating 45 years on the radio this year. How many times have you heard Steve say that? How many times have you heard Steve say that? Exactly, because it would sound too self-serving. So I say, and if Steve and I went out on the, if we opened up the phones and had people call in to tell us how great we are, like he did on the streets of New York with those transsexual people, homeless transex, and by the way, he interviewed one transsexual that had COVID, Omicron, with the microphone, and then he went and interviewed other people with the same mic that he was putting up to his mouth. I mean, what the hell, Jesse Waters? The guy said he had Omicron.
And the people he was interviewing, just on a side note, that wasn't any kind of slice of what I'd consider ever MAGA. These were absolute...
They look like, you know what they look like? They look like male street prostitutes that he was talking to.
Biden's cabinet is what it looked like.
Biden's cabinet.
I apologize.
No, you guys, it's one show. It's the first show. You got to cut him.
Steve, first of all, it's not his first show. He's done that Saturday night show for years, and he's brought it to weeknights at 7.
All right, so he's trying to adapt it to a new format.
Yes.
Steve, would you agree that Jesse, at this point, with his importance at Fox, has to pretty much set a precedent? You know broadcasting better than anybody, and I'll give you that. In that being said, wouldn't Jesse's best alternative right now, not to be self-praised, but to set a precedent of intelligence and better reporting than most people have been doing?
Well, a lot of this is trial and error. You know, you do stuff. He's on every night now, so that means he's going to have an opportunity.
Well, listen, we're late for a break. We got to take a quick break. But hey, listen, from Ohio, thanks for the call.
Some of the things he does will work, and some won't work.
Last night did not work.
Well, okay, I'm sure. Believe me, I'm sure he's heard that.
Okay, I'm sure from Greg Gutfeld. Yeah. All right, we'll be right back.
I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have
Steve Kane Show.
Whatever car or truck you have,
hold on.
I get you incredible deals.
Steve Kane Show.
Any tire. I also do tire repairs.
Hey, Juan, hold on.
At very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need.
Tell me in the chat room, tell me if you think I'm right or wrong about Jesse Waters' show last night. And if you want to call on the air, that'd be great. Right or wrong on his show last night. Yeah, fun's good.
Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs.
Wrong.
906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
The Steve Kane Show
Oh.
is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing?
Wow.
Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices.
Sorry, my throat is so dry because of the cold weather.
Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just
All right, we're back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane here. You want to go back to the phone, Steve? All right, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, toll-free call. Anything we've brought up on the program today since 6 a.m. is fair game at 1-888-465-2631. Juan, good morning.
Good morning, it's Juan from Coral Springs.
That's why I said Juan, good morning. But that.
Yes, we're on the delay, but anyway.
Okay.
The the one thing about Jesse Waters, and I called earlier today, but with Jesse Waters, he's got an ego the size of the state of Florida.
Oh.
But the one thing, but here's the one thing about Jesse Waters. The person that brought him into prominence was Bill O'Reilly. And Bill O'Reilly, put him out on the streets and, had him do the dirty job, so to speak. And it's only one show, like Steve said, and we just got to give him a chance.
Yes.
And but he has an ego.
A massive ego. I mean, it's the biggest.
Yeah, but again.
Well, some of it's shtick.
No, it was not. That last night was for real. It was not. Did you see it last night, Juan?
Well, no, I did.
Okay.
But no, I can't say that I did. But the one thing that I know is that look at the name of his book. The name of his book.
How I Saved the World? Yeah. Well, sometimes... Well, no. Sometimes you can do things that are in humor. Like the one I used earlier, an example, Rush, Talent on Loan from God. That was sarcasm.
Jesse Waters is just now starting, so to speak.
Yeah.
Jesse Waters has got a long way to prove himself, and Bill O'Reilly was the one that gave him. But anyway, thanks.
Well, I got a question about Jesse Waters, okay? Now, he is married to a younger woman who was his producer on his show. And when he started having a relationship with her, he went to Human Resources, both of them, to tell them. You know what I mean? Because they got, this was post Roger Ailes, right? So he went to he went to Human Resources with this younger woman that was his producer. They had started a relationship to tell Human Resources they were involved, so they didn't want to have a Roger Ailes situation in there. This is my question, and this is a serious question. Did Jesse Waters go to Human Resources and tell them about the relationship before he told his wife, the mother of his children? What do you think?
Well, what I think about that he was doing one thing was CYA.
Yeah, no. But who did he tell first? His wife about the relationship, or Human Resources at Fox?
I don't know that.
What's the purpose of that question?
I'm just curious. I think it's a curious question.
Actually, that's not true. Actually, what you're doing is taking a shot.
I'm curious. It is a shot, but I'm also curious. I'd be interested to know. If he went to Human Resources first, I think that'd be interesting.
It's both. It's a shot, and it's also something to investigate, because there's a conduct rule in these network stations, especially Fox News, where you cannot get involved. That's why one of the football players that used to be on Fox, in the morning, got fired because he got involved with somebody that he should not.
Yeah. All right, hey Juan, thanks for the call. You always have good insights and good opinions and interesting perspectives. No, it's a shot, but I'm also curious because I think it'd be interesting if it was Human Resources first, wife second. All right, our number 1-888-GO-CANE 1-465-2631. What do you think now? I was watching the media yesterday. Is the media pushing us into like getting involved in Ukraine and Russia or not? They seem to be pushing it to me, Steve. Like the media want to. Is it for ratings? I'm a little confused. I mean, we just got out.
I don't think it's taken form yet. I don't think there is a set opinion. I'm sure there are a lot of people there is a segment of the media that recognizes that war may be the only long shot of a chance that Biden has of regaining some of those many lost points.
Yeah.
He's suffered in the ratings. Because they've made a thing about it from the beginning that no wartime president has ever not been reelected. So the desperate Biden people may now take. I'm sure there are a bunch of them that will take that tact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It would seem that way. All I
know is my son.
Steve Kane Show.
Is in the armor division, which is the tanks.
Well, you know what? He might, Steve, and let me tell you why. I'm not trying to upset you, but it's true, because the Ukraine is a third world corrupt pit of hell. That's, but it's one of the largest exporters of wheat in the world, maybe only second to the United States. It's a flat country, so if there's combat there will be tanks, and a lot of them involved. And when we give them tanks, these tanks we have today are very high tech. Guys like your son are going to be shipped over there to teach these Ukrainians how to drive our tanks. So yeah, your son, and who the hell starts getting involved in military conflict with Russia during winter? Hitler attacked him during the winter. Napoleon. The Russians always win during winter time. We shouldn't even be involved. You got to wait at least until the summer. I mean, it's just everything's bad about this. It's just bad. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, this is Bill from Deerfield Beach.
Hey, Bill. Hey.
If I'm not mistaken, Don Imus gave Jesse Waters his first shot. Not
really? Yes, sir.
I remember I used to watch, I'm from New York, the Imus in the Morning Show, which was I don't think it was in Florida at the time. And it was Don Imus who sent Jesse Waters out in the street.
Oh, I did not know that. Yeah.
Yes, I love your show.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. Well, you know what time it is? It's time, Steve, the most listened to portion of the Steve Kane Show each and every day, the Gold and Precious Metals Report with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca. Absolutely. William Youngerman, good morning.
Morning. How you doing?
We're great. How are the metals looking today?
Metals looking good. After a wild ride yesterday, we saw gold trade in a range from $1,829 all the way up to $1,845. And then just closed a little bit off the highs at $1843.10. That was up $7.50 on what was one of the wildest rides for the stock market, people. Yesterday that we've seen after the Dow being down over 1,000 points and then closing up on the day. Silver got down to $23.54 yesterday and as high as $24.40, closing out the day at about $23.99, just under $24. That was down 28 cents. Platinum closed down $1 at $1,027, and palladium was up $38, closing out the day at $2,078 this morning. Gold down about 10 cents right now at $18.43. Silver down 29 cents at $23.70. Platinum down $11 at $1,016, and palladium up $32 at $2,110. We got Bitcoin at around 36,000, and stocks are again scheduled for a lower opening.
Bitcoin at 36. It just seems like the other day it was at 67.
For that, great store of value. Right?
Oh man.
Funny.
Oh man. Oh man. Now all the metals are looking great at these numbers. If someone's looking to buy some metals today, what are you recommending?
I'm recommending all three of them actually.
Yeah.
The world-class money that has been money for 5,000 years. Silver is a great commodity that's way underpriced, and platinum, of course, which is 15 times rarer than gold and selling for practically half the price of gold. An excellent value there also.
Yeah, and platinum, I'm not an expert on these things. You guys are, but platinum to me looks like it's really going to move because palladium's gotten so high. The auto industry went to palladium and those catalytic converters, and there's a lot of talk of heading back to platinum because palladium's getting too expensive. Yeah, so that's all good news. Well, listen, William Youngerman, they open up weekdays at 10 a.m. You can stop right in. They're located right here in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. You can find them online at williamyoungerman.com. And, of course, you can call 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. 5010. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, also, Brian,
yep.
That we will be closed Friday. This Friday we will be closed, but we'll be open normal hours until Friday or through Thursday.
Okay, great. Take care. Closed Friday, open the rest of the week. Okay, take care. All right, 1-888-GO. Kane 1 is our number. 1-888-465-2631. You want to go back to the phone, Steve? Okay. All these calls are screenless. I have no idea who any of these people are. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hi, it's Lori.
Yes, Lori.
Jesse, show you're right. There was It's, you know, I saw it too. It was like, you're right, it was tall, narcissist, but he is
narcissist.
But I was hoping they were going to have Pete. That's what I was hoping they were going to do. Because
Pete Hegseth?
Oh, I love him. Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, Pete's really good.
First of all, he's more educated than Jesse. If you look at his profile, you know, military.
But, you know, hey, listen, Rush Limbaugh didn't graduate college. Hannity didn't go to college.
What I'm saying is, you know how I'm just saying that he has more, if you want to talk about comparing, you know, Jesse to Pete, he has more, you know, on his plate. He has a better profile than he does.
Jesse Waters, narcissistic is mild to describe that show last night, and I like Jesse Waters, but there's a saying that you have, Steve, with sometimes you'll use this with some of the callers. I'll keep a caller on too long, and you'll say Richie's a great caller, but he's like salt. A little bit goes a long way. That narcissistic thing that I saw last night is how Jesse always is on the 5. But in a 90-second exchange with Geraldo, it's funny and cute. For 60 minutes, it's just makes you want to vomit. I mean, I was embarrassed for him watching.
The image that I get from Jesse, and he's developed this personality on the show over a period of time, is what I refer to as the spoiled Jewish mama's boy.
He talked about his mom a lot.
Talking about mom, yeah, and I don't. It doesn't work for me. I don't find it attractive.
You know,
I find it a turn on.
I love Rachel Duffy. I think she's great.
Rachel Campos Duffy. Oh yeah.
Oh, I think she's great. She's you know, she has a.
But let me tell you so. Okay, let me tell you something though. Okay, Jesse Waters was the right person to get that slot. And I'll tell you why. Greg Kelly on Newsmax has been beating Fox News in the ratings in that time slot for a year, and that's why they moved Martha McCallum out, and they've not had a permanent host for about a year. So I'm a big fan of Greg Kelly on Newsmax. I love Greg Kelly. I think he's the best. But see, they're doing a kind of counter programming because Jesse Waters is kind of like an Entertainment Tonight kind of guy, you know. So it's counter. Fox News is watching Newsmax in their rear view, and they've made a lot of changes, including firing Chris Wallace because of the rise of Newsmax. So actually, he is a great person. He's the perfect person because if you put in somebody like Pete Hegseth, who's great, it's a redo of what the great Greg Kelly's doing on Newsmax. You put this guy who loves his hair as much as John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever, you know, on there. It's complete counter programming. So it was the better choice to put on against the great Greg Kelly, no doubt about it.
I've seen Jesse's world. Waters' world. Actually, he covered some serious topics. If you watch the show, he had kind of, he's goofy on there too, but he's covered China. He covered Fauci.
Yeah, he's good with serious news.
But I'll tell you, last night, Greg Kelly on Newsmax last night, which I watched this morning before I came into the radio station, he had some information about this new idiot mayor in New York, and he had some quotes from like the retired chief of detectives and people that worked with Adams, and they said he didn't care about police work or crime. It was all political steps for this guy to get where he's at now. It was good. I'm glad you're on Newsmax, Stephen. You know, when they had that shoot, let me tell you that this mayor, I saw after the police murder and shooting the other night, okay, and he got together with his posse and walked over there. He was strutting down the street, walking like George Jefferson. It looked like it was choreographed by Tarantino and Reservoir Dogs, walking down the street like he was Joe Cool. And it was, and two cops had been shot. One's murdered by this street thug, and he couldn't stop grinning because he thought he looked so cool. Adams walking down the street after the shooting. I thought he's a disgusting person.
The Adams wants to get paid in crypto. Why is it?
I understand that, people that do that. That may be a reason. I don't know. Why does he want to get paid in crypto?
Wanted to go to crypto, and I'm like, he's seedy looking. I don't think he looks. Well, you know what? New York deserves. That's what they.
Well, that's not true. Greg Kelly 2 weeks ago. Greg Kelly pointed. I did not know this. He only 3% of New Yorkers voted for Adams. The voter turnout. I'm serious. 3%. The voter turnout in New York City is so low. Only 3% of New Yorkers voted for this idiot. Yeah.
Sliwa in.
Yeah.
I would like to have given Curtis Sliwa a chance.
Yeah.
I like him too. He's been on.
He's serious.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Thanks for the call. All right. Take care. Oh, she sounded disappointed. Like we were. I'm sorry. There's other callers. Show's almost over. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Melissa from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Melissa.
Hello, Melissa.
How you doing, Steve? This is kind of a little bit off topic, and I totally agree. I called you the other day about my daughter living in New York, and the whole thing's a mess.
Oh, yeah.
It's horrible what happened with that officer. But anyways, this goes back to kind of yesterday, because I was in and out of your show because I had to take a phone call, blah, blah, blah. With Psaki, what if she went on, because I love Harris Faulkner. I love her with Katie.
She's terrific.
Yeah, she's good.
Imagine if they brought Jen Psaki on with, I don't know, was it the 12 o'clock show, that the one that Kaylee...
With McEnany?
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great? Because she would be so attacked and she can't defend herself.
If they put together, I don't really care to hear what liberals have to say on cable news. However, I would watch a show that was hosted by Kayleigh McEnany and Jen Psaki. Absolutely. Jen Psaki's leaving the White House, and McEnany would kick her butt. And I don't want some third person, some one lucky guy running interference. I mean the two of them, that show would be a disaster in the end because Psaki would be throwing fits. It would be beautiful.
Just see 10 minutes of her even try to go up against Kayleigh.
One thing, they got a thing for press secretaries, right? They got Kayleigh, they got Perino. I haven't seen McEnany with Perino too much. Have you? And I'm wondering if Perino's threatened by her. Because she's the new kid on the block. She's like a few presidents ago. You know what I mean? She's like from the Nixon administration almost.
I love that, and I do like that. But I was thinking about that yesterday.
Yeah, well, that's good. And I don't understand that. How could you have a phone call that would take you away from this program? What could have been more important than us? Are you gay? You're gay MAGA?
Stop it.
Oh, you said girlfriend. Hey, it's a new world.
Last time.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay. I thought we might have lesbians for Trump. But apparently not. Okay, take care. Hey, thanks for the call. Thanks for the call. Okay. She's not gay, people. She's not gay. She wants you to know that. Real quick though, I just want to tell you. I just got a few seconds to tell you this. It was 48 degrees when I woke up this morning. I had no idea because I was sleeping under my 100% Giza cotton flannel dream sheets from Mike Lindell. And with our promo code Kane at checkout, the MyPillow 100% Giza cotton dream sheets, buy one set, get a second set free. You can get both flannel, one regular, one flannel, whatever you want, but they're spectacular. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. We're all out of time, Steve. You want to sign us off? You got 10 seconds.
See you. And until then, on behalf of Tyler Kane, our associate.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
All right, that's it. Hey, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you like the video before you go, all right? And if you're new, subscribe. Oh, boy. Okay, let me turn. I got to turn our voicemail on. All right, just turned the voicemail on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. I got to take off, but thanks for watching, everyone, all right? I'll see you soon.